Last night, the Marlins had a complete win over the Cardinals. Jose Fernandez went 7 solid. Giancarlo Stanton provided some pop at the plate. And Steve Cishek got save number 8 in a 5-4 win. Tonight, it's Attack of the Analysts, Part 2. Just a beautiful shot of Miami as folks start to file in for this second game of a 3-game series. The Marlins, the St. Louis Cardinals, Mike Redmond checking on his lineup. JP thinking about an 11-game hitting streak. Giancarlo keeping that hamstring loose. Tom Kohler wanting that first major league win. Hi everybody, Tommy Hutton once again along with Preston Wilson and Jeff Conine. A lot of fun last night for the ball club to beat a club like the Cardinals.
You know, I think Jose Fernandez really surprised the Cardinals with his command of his secondary pitches. We've seen him throw the fastball well before, but last night he was consistently throwing strikes with his curveball and his changeup, and I don't think the Cardinals hitters were ready for that.
I like the way he swung the bat. I mean, when you talk about the bottom of this lineup, Jeff Mathis and both he and Fernandez combined for manufactured a couple runs there in the middle innings, which really helped the Marlins win last night.
That was good to see. The Marlins, as we check on the lineup, let's see if Mike Redmond has made any changes. Mentioned Juan Pierre looking for that hit streak. Greg Dobbs back in the lineup again.
Well, it's good to see Juan Pierre going the way he's going. You know, he's really a component to this ball club that once he gets on, he opens up a lot for them to have to pitch to Stanton and Ozuna in the middle of the lineup. And I think Lucas there at the top is a big key because he's really good at hitting behind the runners.
And just that presence of that number 3 man in there, whether he hits or not, is a big boost to this lineup.
All right, it's Tom Kohler trying to get his first major league win, and he goes up against Lance Lynn.
Lance Lynn, big power righty, 6'5". He comes out of that mold of Chris Carpenter and Adam Wainwright, power guys that can locate. And the Marlins are going to have to work cut out because he doesn't miss spots very often.
And speaking with Chuck Hernandez, the Marlins pitching coach, he said Tom Kohler must establish his fastball. He's not been able to do that the last few starts. Had to rely on his breaking ball too much. When you get used to that breaking ball, it gets hit. So hopefully he can establish that fastball early tonight.
All right, there's a look at our Coventry pitching matchup. Lynn, Kohler, Cardinals, Marlins. Stay hot, JP. We'll be right back. to make it 2 in a row against the St. Louis Cardinals. I'm sure one of the areas that Lance Lynn is concerned about is the leadoff man, Juan Pierre. And we'll have a little bit more on JP from Craig Minervini and Cliff Floyd.
Thank you, Tommy. JP has been terrific, Cliff. He's got a 10-game hit streak, and his timing has been great for the rest of the lineup. How has it changed?
Well, I think the one thing that's changed is the fact that he's in a streak now where he's feeling good. It's not just one hit over the course of the 10 game; it's multiple. He's done it 6 times over his 10-game hitting streak. So to me, that's just giving our team a chance throughout the game to score runs. And he's hitting 375 on the homestand with 3 runs scored. Those are why you win in ball games, especially for a young team like this. Is trying to find their identity, trying to find something to keep them, feeling good about themselves. Yeah. Juan P has been in Callis. He's been a table setter his whole career. Played 14 years. There's a reason behind that. There's a reason he's never been with a guy that's hitting 8th and 9th in lineups. And when I say 9th, American League, whatever,
sure,
he's a guy that can lead off and know exactly what he's doing when he's up there.
You saw the numbers against Molina. Nobody steals bases against Yadier.
Ever.
And he's done a very nice 4 for 6. But with the Giancarlo and Alomo the other night, Dietrich, all those guys getting a chance to drive JP in, it's a different lineup now.
Well, you put everybody in their right spots. We talk about being overmatched. We knew our Marlins were a little overmatched throughout the course of the season because they're so young. But Juan P allows everybody else to move down. You get Giancarlo, you get Lomo when he's back in the lineup. Everybody can move into the right spots, and that's how you add depth to a lineup that's desperately needing some punch. And the punch meaning that the opposing pitcher has to think a little bit. Yeah. He has to not just go up there and go, I can mow through this lineup because I don't have to worry about guys hitting me out the ballpark. Now you have that element to worry about, and you put guys in right spots that can still hit still swing that bat a little bit.
All right, we got it coming up here. Let's see if JP can get on base and get the Marlins going against tough Lance Lynn. First, we'll have to deal with that Cardinal lineup, which scored 2 in the first off Jose Fernandez in Game 1 of the series last night. So Lance Lynn, a big tall righty, against Tom Kohler, the pitching matchup for Game 2 next.
Florida is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. By AT&T Uverse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PICK-ATT. Rethink possible. By Just for Men Auto Stop, the foolproof way to get rid of gray. And by Checkers. Feast on. Oh, yeah, a little nicer day outside than it was yesterday prior to this start of the game. The Cardinals in town, Game 2 of this 3-game series. Let's see what the Cardinals have to offer. What Mike Matheny, their manager, has filled out the lineup card this way. A little switch. He has John Jay back at the top of the order. Carlos Beltran, the Gold Glover in right field. Matt Holliday, Alan Craig hitting cleanup. Yadier Molina, the league's leading hitter. David Freese, Daniel Descalso starting in this one. Pete Cosma is the shortstop. And the pitcher is Lance Lynn. And guys, there's a look at Tom Kohler.
Well, Kohler is definitely going to have to come out tonight and establish his fastball, like we said earlier. But the one thing that he does have is he can throw his breaking balls for strikes. So I think being a little bit more advanced pitcher, even though he is young in his major league career, he does have that ability to help himself out with that second pitch.
Tom Kohler has, for me, pitched well enough to at least have one victory. You see up on the board a big goose egg in the win department, still looking for his first major league win. And you look at his overall season, 48 innings pitched, 41 hits allowed, and a 3.9 ERA. I think that's good enough for at least one. What do you think?
Yeah, and opposing batters hitting .234 against him, too.
Solid numbers.
Pinch a penny, about to bring us our first pitch of the game. Let's see if it's one of those 93, 94 mile-an-hour fastballs.
Good call, Tommy.
Yeah, 93.
Right on.
Evidently, John Jay wasn't looking for that one. Another fastball. 0-2 to John Jay. We talked about it last night. Jay had been moved down in the order because he wasn't hitting as well as Carpenter, but still a solid year because John Jay has 31 RBIs. That's not too bad.
No, he seems to get big hits for this team, and you know, we talked about yesterday how much they like this guy. They like his work ethic. They like the way he goes about his business. So, you know, he's going to get all the rope he can get, even when he's struggling a little bit, to get a chance to go out there and perform.
Kohler leaves the breaking ball outside, 2-2. Mike Matheny. We talked about Matheny, a four-time Gold Glover, second-year manager. Just 42 years old. Had a nice major league career and always known for his tremendous defense.
You know, he had a great career, but he still would have been playing even more if he hadn't gotten caught hit by that pitch and got the concussion, and that lingered for years. He was just never quite able to get back to the form that he was, and he had a lot of headaches. He had a lot of, he had some memory loss at one point he was talking about. So it's a tough thing to come back from.
Well, after getting ahead 0-2, Tom Kohler loses Jay, and the Cardinals get a base runner.
Hey, let's take a look at the Marlins defense. Juan Pierre in left, Ozuna in center. Giancarlo, nice to have you back in right field. Ed Lucas at third base. Danny Echevarria holding down the sixth hole. Derek Dietrich playing second base. Dobbs at first. And the battery for the day is Brantley and Kohler.
That might be tough to come back from. An 0-2 leadoff walk.
Yeah, see if he regroups. A tough part of the lineup, though, with Beltran, Holliday, and then Craig. Carlos Beltran working on a 13-game hitting streak. Had a base hit last night to extend it.
You go up and down this potent Cardinals lineup, and you go down to the 6 and 7 spot. You got 21 RBIs in each of those two spots with David Freese and Descalso. You look down at the Marlins, they only have one guy in the starting lineup with 21 RBIs.
Well, only the Rockies have scored more runs, but just by a couple. Cardinals have the best batting average in the league. Highest batting average with runners in scoring position.
You know, and the Cardinals have some veteran guys in those anchor position in the lineup, 3, 4, 5. And I know we consider Giancarlo Stanton a veteran because he's got, closing on 3 years now. But in major league terms, he's not really a veteran. You don't get that until you get to 5, 6, 7 years. That's when you're pretty much considered more of a veteran.
You look at some of the numbers there, Tommy. You mentioned the runners in scoring position. Cardinals are 339 overall in men in scoring position, 337 with 2 outs, 340 with less than 2 outs. So
Stop it.
Very consistent.
Well, a good comeback to get the out. Mike Matheny happy with all that. You talked about the injuries. He also, if I remember, in spring training had to leave the Cardinals for a week or so. He had some back surgery, some disc problems. in spring training. I guess that's the price you pay being a catcher.
So you want to be a catcher.
And by the way, have you ever gotten a look at those guys' hands? Oh,
Mangled.
That's not a pretty sight.
All right, the 6-time 300 hitter Matt Holliday steps in, and there's that 93-mile-an-hour fastball that Holliday questions. But Fox Tracks, yeah, brought to you by Rand Eye Institute. No problem for Tom Hallion, home plate umpire. You would think, and we talked about this last night, not a lot of stolen bases from the Cardinals. John Jay has just 2. That pitch almost got away from Brantley.
I don't know how that didn't hit Holliday.
Yeah.
That was way inside there. Good job of getting out of the way.
Well, everybody in the league knows that you have to crowd Holliday. He's a big, strong guy, but with the big, strong guys come big, long arms. And those guys you can tie up. How do I know? Because I was one of those guys. You could get in on me, but once you made a mistake over the plate, you paid for it. And, Holliday's a much better hitter than I was, so he really makes them pay.
If Holliday had that baggy Craig Biggio shirt, he would have been hit
at first base right now.
Yeah, he'd be at first base. Good point. Do you guys think Biggio should have gotten elected this year to the Hall of Fame?
I do. I think 3,000 is automatic for me.
I mean, I had the opportunity to play with him, and I tell you, man could hit. He was a lot of fun around the clubhouse. Not really, he wasn't trying to be fun, but he had a lot of idiosyncrasies that made it a lot of fun. I think with the career numbers that he put up offensively, I think he should have made it.
All right, count 2-2 to Matt Holliday.
I think a lot of people don't remember that he was an all-star catcher before he went to second base.
Little chopper up the third baseline. It's going to be a tough play for Lucas. And Holliday, who doesn't get a lot of infield base hits, gets one right there. And moving on to second is John Jay.
Well, Kohler makes a great pitch right here to get Holliday out in front. Good curveball. But with Lucas playing back, just to respect Holliday's power, he had too far to go to get him at first base.
Frustrating when a pitcher makes that good pitch and the hitter gets that infield hit. Now it gets tough. We talked about the team's average with runners in scoring position. Alan Craig on the year, 426, 29 for 68 with runners in scoring position.
Is that good?
If you like that kind of thing, that's good. I think a big key in these situations is to make sure that the other team doesn't key in on what you're trying to do. And, I know some teams relay signs, and if they do, that's fine, but it's up to you to make your signs hard enough to not get. There's so many ways you can relay signs. You don't have to just do it one particular way.
So what are you trying to say?
No,
maybe a little bit of their success is that they've got a good communication system.
I played for a couple teams, and actually it wasn't the Cardinals, but I played for a few teams where if we could get your signs, we would run you in the dirt because we had subtle ways of relaying it. And if you were really sloppy about your signs, we'd get them to the hitter, and it would be a carousel out there.
0-1 pitch. He hits Craig, a fastball that got away from Tom Kohler, and certainly no intent. He didn't want to load the bases for Yadier Molina.
Tom Kohler has not been able to throw inside very effectively. We saw him almost hit Matt Holliday twice. Tries to come inside there, and he knew he was going to get it. See him wincing before the ball even got there.
Yeah, he saw Brantley set up inside, so that was where they wanted the pitch, not up off his shoulder, though. So the bases are loaded for a 351 hitter, Yadier Molina. Went away from that first pitch fastball and dropped a nice breaking ball in for strike one. They're the runners with Jay, Holliday, and Craig.
Well, it's going to be imperative from here on out for Kohler to be able to throw some strikes on the inside part of the plate, maybe even some borderline pitches.
Yadier Molina finds that hole into left field. They're going to send the runner from second base. No play at the plate. So 2 runs come in on that base hit by Yadier Molina. 2-0 Cards.
That Lucas looked like a little hiccup here. I don't know if he just didn't see it off the bat very well. I don't know if he would have gotten to it anyway, but did not react very well to that off the bat.
Yeah, and I said Kohler's going to have to throw some strikes inside simply because once guys know that you can't throw strikes inside, they will eliminate that inside part of the plate. They'll look fastball away, and that's going to keep him on that breaking ball that breaks from the middle to the outside. So he's going to have to throw some strikes inside to keep them honest, because if not, they're just going to start hanging over that plate and waiting on him.
Well, in the last 5 games now, the Marlins have allowed 9 first-inning runs. We had a note on the Cardinals last night. The Marlins were able to break the trend, but the Cardinals were near 80% winning games when they score first. Well, they scored first last night, but the Marlins came back and won. But if you're Kohler right there, you're yelling, "Get fouled." He made another good pitch.
Yeah.
Boy, you warm up in the bullpen. I've always thought about this, having ever been a starting pitcher. You warm up, you spend all that time, and you think you may have it just right, and then you go out and you make a couple of bad pitches. You make a good pitch that was a base hit, and all of a sudden you're down 2-0 with just 1 out.
Talked to Chuck Hernandez before the game, Marlins pitching coach, and you said how critical it was going to be for Kohler to establish that fastball early, and clearly he does not have that good feel for the fastball.
Well, with Jose Fernandez, we talked about fastball command. And pretty much every pitcher, and certainly the perfect design for that would be the Cardinal staff. They really preach fastball command. We'll see Lance Lynn later, who throws 80-90% fastballs.
We saw Jose Fernandez last night not have very good command in that first inning, give up a couple runs, and then made an adjustment, came back out, reestablished the fastball, and pretty much shut down the Cardinals the rest of the way.
So again, Kohler had gotten ahead at 1.1-2. Now the count's 3-2 to Freese. Runners going. Freese pops it up the middle. Hard shot. That'll bring home Craig. That'll chase Molina to third. So once again, hitters getting in good hitters counts and having good swings.
Almost looked to me like Freese kind of cut down his swing right here. Preston, you talked about this yesterday about how good the Cardinals are of going up the middle of the field. You see him just kind of shorten the swing a little bit and then focus right on the middle.
Yeah, they believe that for a pitcher to come in late, not many pitchers like to pitch in late just because they're afraid of making that mistake. So they want to stay to the middle of the ballpark because they feel like that's where the pitcher's going to be most of the time. But look at that concentration. Eye locked down, right down on the barrel. Head's never moving, staying up the middle. That's how you're driving runs right there.
Yes, indeed.
Plus, he got that nice high fastball out over the plate, too.
That helps. That helps.
So Chuck Hernandez out to visit with Tom Kohler just to, if he's seen something that maybe mechanically he's doing incorrect, let him know that a ground ball can get him out of the inning. Runners at first and third with 1 down. But 6 or more innings in 4 of his 6 starts. So Niner, you touched on it. He's been solid out there. Right now he needs to get back on solid ground.
Well, I think kind of the tone was set. First batter of the game, John Jay, 0-2 count, ended up walking him.
Tough guy to double up, Daniel Descalso. Fastball's been up a little bit in this inning. That's where he's gotten hurt. Descalso, one of those real nice utility players, can play all over the infield.
Hey, the Cardinals have a knack for finding that guy. You know, before this guy, it was Skip Schumacher. Before him, it was Aaron Miles. The Cardinals have a knack for finding that guy that can play everywhere.
I mentioned yesterday that 19 of the 25 Cardinals on the roster currently, the only major league games they've played in are for the Cardinals. 19 out of 25. That's pretty impressive to me.
A number I saw the other day that really surprised me is that each team, the Marlins and the Cardinals, each team has played 14 rookies this year.
Wow.
Here's another one for you. The super utility guy that the Marlins had last year, Solano, came from the Cardinals.
Breaking ball hangs high.
So when you talk about fastball command, I mean, it might, for our viewers, might not mean anything to them. What do you see, Tommy, or what can you explain to them as fastball command?
Fastball command is working it in and out, up and down, and not just missing with it up. It's having command of it on the corners of the plate. There's a shot by Descalso down the right field line, and it stays fair. Stanton runs it down in the corner. Molina comes in to score, and Freese is over at third base. So the Cardinals just keep on hitting. A two-base hit by Daniel Descalso. They have 4 hits in the inning.
But that's what we were talking about, fastball command. Lack of that leads you to 3-1 counts, 2-0 counts. That's a 3-1 fastball right there. We call that a cripple pitch. That's a pitch that you know a fastball is coming. The pitcher has it for the fastball. So as a hitter, there's no better place to be than when you know what's coming.
So the Cardinals have put up a 4 spot on 4 hits, 30 pitches so far. And Kohler has recorded just 1 out. He's had 3 3-ball counts. There's a chopper. Dobbs to the plate. And not in time.
Seemed like there was just a little hesitation there.
I was about to say,
the ball.
Too much of a hesitation.
Those are the plays you have to know what you're going to do when that ball's hit. It looked like he thought about it right there, and right there, that's where the play is lost.
And because it's coming from the first base side, Brantley has to go out so he doesn't get short hopped. And by the time he goes out, he opens up a little bit of a freeway zone for Freese to come in, and the Cardinals get another one.
It's nice to see a guy also slide right at the plate.
Something the Cardinals do well. Lance Lynn with the sac bunt, and Kohler almost threw it away. Wow. That's just the frustration coming out.
Tell you what, you see Tom Kohler right there. Did not even check the runner at third base either. He could have walked all the way home with an easy run. Saw Descalso. He came off a little bit and checked Kohler and was going to see what he was going to do, but he never even looked at him.
So the Cardinals have batted around. It's back to the top of the order. Remember, Preston, you pointed it out, an 0-2 count to Jay, who eventually walked. Both you guys talked about that. Already activity in the Marlins bullpen.
You know, I think just as much as him not getting batters out, that toss to first is a reason to get someone up in the bullpen, because that lets you know that the moment right now it's kind of gotten a little bit large for him. He needs to reset his mind and calm down a little bit.
He's rattled.
2-1 now to Jay. Line drive, a little leaping grab by Echeverria, and the inning has come to an end. But the Cardinals get 5 on 4 hits. Bottom of the first we come. Marlins trail. Marlins pitching coach having a long conversation with Tom Kohler, who would hope if you're a pitching coach you'd like to see him bounce back and give you 2 or 3 innings. Let's take a look at the lineup for the Marlins in this game this afternoon with Juan Pierre and Ed Lucas and Giancarlo Stanton at the top. Ozuna, Dietrich, Echeverria in the middle, Dobbs, Brantley, and Kohler filling things out.
All right, big Lance Lynn. He's your power righty. That's just typical of what the Cardinals bring out in the vein of Chris Carpenter, Adam Wainwright. He's that type of guy. He's a power righty that can locate, and he's going to throw a whole bunch of fastballs. You're going to have to hit his fastball to get him off that mound.
That bottom part of the graphic, you saw the run support. He's almost getting 7 runs a game, so why wouldn't he get 5 runs in the first inning?
Of course. I'm sure the rest of the staff is looking at that going, come on, man, give me some of that.
Well, he's had 7 starts this year, 7 or more innings. He's consistent. He'll feed you a lot of fastballs. And he had a terrific year, an all-star year last year. Lance Lynn was 18-7. He's a guy, Niner, who needs fastball command.
He's not rushing it up there at 95, 96 miles an hour like we've seen some of the other guys, so he's got to put it exactly where he wants to.
Yeah, just like that, Juan Pierre extends that hitting streak. He's thinking about a triple, and he has it. Juan Pierre, an 11-game hitting streak, getting it started. And that's a good way to kind of bounce back after the opposition has just gotten 5.
You know, that's something the guys don't challenge Juan Pierre with too much because they know he likes to hit it the other way, so they kind of pitch him that way for him to hit it in the defense. But he can turn on it. If you leave it up, he can turn on it. And he's yanked that thing down in the corner for a nice, easy triple.
That's what we call the alligator arm. Those little short arms get in there, and you saw that ball was hit almost on the label of the bat, but he still had enough on it to get it to the wall.
Well, I remember his only home run this year was one that was in. He hooked it just inside the foul pole.
And that was the only home run here at home for the Marlins for, what, a 14-game stretch?
Yeah, 14, 15 games, yeah. Ed Lucas, the batter. 13 hits, 13 for 42.
All kinds of ways he can get him in right here with the infield playing back, ground ball at the middle, fly ball to the outfield, take a base hit. Probably the only places he can't score that guy is a ground ball back to the pitcher or maybe a hard ground ball over at third base to Freeze.
Lucas fights off. We'll scout Lance Lynn. I'll let you guys take over.
Lance Lynn, we've seen so far this game. You're looking at a 2 and a 4 seamer. Like we said, not upper 90s like some of the other Cardinals pitchers. He works both sides of the plate very effectively. But he does throw a lot of fastballs. For a guy that doesn't throw upper 90s, he throws a lot of fastballs, a high percentage.
And a new look body. You got a guy who last year was about 40 pounds heavier. He had the long, shaggy hair, the crazy-looking beard. Well, so he's a completely different-looking guy this year.
He's down to a svelte 240 now.
Svelte 240.
So he was in that 280, 290 range last year. There's a ground ball up the middle. The backhand by Descalso's bobbled, and Ed Lucas has himself a base hit, and the Marlins get themselves a run. So a good way to start the bottom half of the first.
All right, let's take a look at the Cardinal defense, brought to you by Cleveland Clinic. Holiday, Jay, Beltran in the outfield, Freeze, Cosma, Descalso, and Craig in the infield. The aforementioned Lance Lynn on the mound, and Yadier Molina behind the plate.
As Giancarlo Stanton steps in, big night for Stanton last night. 3 hits, 2 doubles. One of the doubles drove in 2 runs.
Guys, I don't know if you've noticed, but since Stanton's gotten back, I haven't seen Ozuna use Stanton's bats as much, so I think Stanton may have put the kibosh on that.
No more bats for you.
Yeah, look, I'm back now. I'm using my bats.
There's that fastball on the outer part of the plate.
But at some point Ozuna might say, hey, John Silverman, the clubhouse manager, say, would you please order some of his bats for me?
Yeah, I don't even care.
Put his name on it.
Exactly. Put his
Don't
name
put my
on
name
it.
on it. Put his name on it so I can use them. I've done that before, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Whose bat? Here's a good question. Whose bat did you ever grab and have a little success with? I'll let you think about it. There's probably some teammate that you started using their bat when you were going bad.
The worst at that was Gary Sheffield. he would pick up one of your bats. Oh, man, this feels good. Can I get some? And you'd give him some of your stash, like 3 or 4 of your stash, and they'd sit in his little cubby thing for the whole year. He never used them, but he'd have 80 bats in there from other guys. He never used any of them.
I was going to say, I thought you were going in another direction, and you start using them and buggy whipping them and hit. He uses them at auctions now.
Yeah.
I got in Colorado. I used one of Todd Hilton's bats, and his bats were so hard they scared me. I mean, Mizuno used to send him these bats, and they were in these bat cases that were like
Wonder Boy.
They were sealed. They had like these little foam things on them, so they didn't dent each other in there. And it was just, they just hurt your ears when the ball hits the bat. So I didn't want to use them because I felt like they made me better than I was. So I had to back away from them. They were too hard.
Here you are, and Helton's still playing.
Shows how smart I am.
Let's see if Marcell Ozuna can get back on track. He's 0 for his last 11. He's 1 for his last 17. Some hard hit balls during that time. But I think we can all attest, and I like the fact that Tino Martinez goes this route too, because him being a hitter, every hitter would rather have a jam shot base hit than a line drive right at the shortstop.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
All that other stuff, oh, you hit it hard, but you made it out. No, I'll take the base hit any day of the week.
Yeah, because when November rolls around, nobody remembers that was a jam shot that beat over the second base's head. Tom Hallion called that one with a little gusto just now.
He's going to have to check his lower lumbar after that strike 3 call. But he lets everybody know.
We're talking about fastball command. 2 pitches in a row on the black outside. That borderline there, but when you consistently hit that spot, the umpire is more likely to give you that call than not.
And pitchers, they can't always do it, but that's exactly what they want to do. They want that second strike to be good, and then that third strike, they want it to be that pitch that's so nasty that it might not even be a strike, but you have to possibly offer at it.
Derek Dietrich standing in. Since Dietrich came on the scene May 8th, only one other rookie has hit more home runs since that time. Evan Gattis has hit 7. Dietrich's hit 6. One of the reasons the Braves, we talked about the Braves last night, one of the reasons the Braves have continued to play so well, they've gotten some great play from their rookie Evan Gattis.
And we talked about how you look at Dietrich's average, doesn't look all that great. But right now, I like it a lot better because there's a guy standing on first base. His average men on base is over 300. His guys with nobody on base, it's under 200.
One fastball, and I think as you look at velocities, you're seeing mostly fastballs from Lance Lynn, who's never made a start before against the Marlins. A couple of relief outings. It's his first appearance here at Marlins Park, and it's his first ever start against the Marlins.
I think you see him now as a starter. He has dialed down the fastball a little bit, but what he does have is I think he's gained a little bit more control.
And maybe fighting with it a little bit here in the first inning.
This will be his 20th pitch of the inning. Tom Kohler, 36 pitches in the first inning for the Marlins.
Ball 4.
And you definitely don't want to go out there and have your team on the field for a long time after they spot you 5 runs.
This is good for the Marlins, though, to get on the board at least. Maybe you won't come up with a 5-run inning, but to come out here and make a statement and score a run is good for your offense.
Yeah, and I think just the fact that they're looking at a pitcher who doesn't have right now the best of command, a guy that if you're the Marlins, you say, okay, this guy's reachable. You can get to this guy.
Yeah, he definitely seems so today. And when you're the Marlins, you always want to stay away from that shutdown inning. You want your pitcher that when you spot him runs to go out there and give you that shutdown inning, you don't want to let the other team do that to you.
Echeverria stands in and looks at a strike because you have a guy out there in Lynn in 81 innings coming into this game, 82 strikeouts and just 29 walks. One fastball misses.
And he just keeps pumping fastball after fastball after fastball.
Out of the University of Mississippi. Went with the breaking ball, and Echeverria with the base hit. Lucas comes in to score. Nice hitting by Adeiny Echeverria.
Very clutch 2-out base hit by Hetch right here. Stays on that breaking ball very well. It's actually a pretty good pitch. You see him going down and away with the glove. Molina.
It's almost like Lynn went away from the fastball because he hadn't had command of it.
Well, this team also seems like a more confident offensive team. Early in the year, they get down 5 runs. It's hard to see them have a good offensive inning following that up. Right now, and I don't know whether it was the series that they had in New York, being able to battle through some of those tough innings and tough games, but it seems like a different offensive ball club.
Well, on the first pitch, Dobbs gets hit, and all of a sudden the Marlins have the bases loaded. And here comes the Cardinal pitching coach, Derek Lilliquist. Again, the fastball command not there for Lance Lynn. Well, I was thinking about what you said early in the year when the Marlins were beat down by 5 early in the game. It was like the old Don Meredith, turn out the lights, the party's over. But lately, you're absolutely right. The offense, I think part of it's confidence. They're swinging the bats better, and the confidence tells them they've done it before.
And what a huge boost this could be if Brantley comes up with a base hit. 2 outs here. Gets him right back into this ball game.
Rob Brantley was not in the ball game last night, starting this one.
How about that?
Heavy ball.
Gets in on his hands, drops it into shallow center field. Dietrich scores. Echeverria scores. It's 5-4 Cardinals.
Marlins answer right back.
That was right out of the book of Redmond right there. Heavy ball over the middle infield.
Couldn't have thrown it any better. That does a couple things right there. Obviously knocks in a couple runs with 2 outs, but gets Tom Kohler to the plate to turn over the lineup for next inning.
Not too often do you see 2 teams bat around in the first inning. And how about right now if you're Tom Kohler?
New life. You got to be happy that you got a chance to redeem that first inning. The last 2 fastballs from Lynn have been 92 and 93 miles an hour, so he's starting to loosen up a little bit.
Yeah, he's starting to loosen up once he saw it's a 1-run game.
I can light a fire under you.
Oh, 0-2 pitch. That's all for Kohler. That's all for the Marlins, but they bat around and get back into the ballgame. Score 4 times here in the first. We'll go to the second inning. 5-4 St. Louis. Beautiful sight. The 4 runs in the bottom half of the first inning look like. Cardinals lead 5-4. Home runs hit today, by the way, are worth $12,500. So far in the 4 days, 81 home runs have been hit, and for a total of $1 million for prostate cancer research. So on this Father's Day weekend, you get a little bang for your buck with a home run, and it goes to a good cause.
You know, you like hitting home runs anyway. Those just feel a little bit better. And I know every year when that time came around, I think for the first few years I was a spokesman for the Marlins. And it was always a good time because you knew you were contributing to something good. And besides, who doesn't like hitting home runs?
And the best one we ever saw was Jeff Conine's home run in Anaheim.
Yeah, that was a pretty special home run, I must say. Dad, Jerry, went through prostate cancer and is doing very well, and on that day we were able to honor him by me hitting a home run in Anaheim.
Yeah, that was super. All right, Carlos Beltran leads things off for the Cardinals. Beltran flied out to left field in that first inning.
What the Marlins would love to see right now is Tom Kohler get back on track and hold the score where it is and actually try to get pretty deep into this game.
It's a type of game, too, that if he doesn't, you've got to get him out of there in a hurry because it looks like your offense is going to do a little something. Popped out of play.
Well, I think this situation where you have a young catcher like Brantley, it makes it a little bit harder on your manager and pitching coach because you don't have that experience on the field to kind of tune him up if something goes awry in the middle of the inning. You have to wait till the inning's over unless you want to spend one of those trips to the mound.
1-2 fastball is crushed. Just off the foul screen. A solo home run by Carlos Beltran, his 15th of the year.
Talked about the tremendous balance of Carlos Beltran in this beautiful swing. Inside fastball, gets the barrel out in front and hits it off the foul screen.
You know,
kind of stood there because I know he knew he hit it, but he didn't know if it was going to stay fair.
Yeah, that was the matter of whether it was going to hook or not. But just that little difference, about 4 or 5 inches in location, where Brantley had his glove and where that pitch ended up was the difference between that ball being a swing and miss foul ball, or where the ball ended up going being the home run.
Holiday takes low. Holiday had that infield single on what was a pretty good pitch by Kohler. He just rolled it up the third baseline and beat it out. Has him out front again. A couple of things to think about with Tom Kohler. We actually had a shot last night of Nathan Eovaldi in the Marlins dugout, who made his final rehab start the other night, Double-A. There's a good curveball to get Holiday. Get back to Eovaldi, but our first promo today, and let's give it up for Marcelo Ozuna, who said, my English isn't that great, but I'm going to give it a shot.
The Cleverlander Marlin Park is the best party in baseball. Experience the most unique group area. In sport, we feel never see a full bar and pool. Go to Marlin.com today. Marlin Baseball, dive in.
You know what? I want to give
awesome
him credit.
Right there. Heck yeah.
Because I've been asked to do things like that in Spanish, and let me tell you, I'm not anywhere nearly that good. And he did it with confidence. Like, he saw a little head movement. Like, he had a little bit of attitude with it. So kudos for him for even trying and sticking your neck out there, because that's not a comfortable thing when it's not your first language.
Yeah, that's outstanding.
And like you said, I mean, how many guys do you say, oh, I need an interpreter, or they're doing interviews? I've talked to him, and he's like, hey, my English isn't that great, but I'm learning every single day.
Always gives it a shot. I think if he hangs around Jose Fernandez, he'll get better by the end of the year, too.
That made me like him even more right there. It really does.
Ball hit well by Craig, and Juan Pierre chases it down.
That's a great play right there by Juan Pierre. One of the hardest plays for an outfielder is the ball that's on the batter is the same side outfield as you play. So for a right-handed hitter, that's a left fielder, to be able to judge that line driver that's right at you, and he did a great job right there.
Luckily, Alan Craig had a little hook on this ball, and it kept it in the ballpark. If he would have had a little backspin, I think that would have been gone.
I think Juan Pierre's made a nice adjustment from center field to left field. Now, he played some left field last year with the Phillies, but for the most part of his career, he was a center fielder. And that's not an easy adjustment.
No, I started my career playing center field and ended up moving to the corners later on, and it is a little bit different. But I think if you were a type of center fielder that paid attention, if you made good routes out there in the outfield, you can make the adjustment to the corners.
Now, how many times have you heard, Preston, that the corners are tougher to play than center? I mean, I'm going to pose this question to you because you've done both. I never played center field, but they said that center's an easier read off the bat than it is in the corners.
I think center can be an easier read because you're seeing a full view of the batter. I think the corners, you have less responsibility, so those things that are harder, they just don't come up as often.
I would say less ground to cover, too, at the corners. Off the mound, here comes Echeverria, and Etch just again with a clean pick and throw. So after the home run, the Cardinals go 1-2-3. They extend their lead to 6-4. Marlins coming to bat, bottom of the second inning. High Definition is brought to you by H.H. Gregg. Wow, that looks good.
That looks really good. We'll have to call our friends at H.H. Gregg and have them, send us a little care package in here.
We did have a little care package a little
bit
earlier.
It went fast, though, thanks to the folks at Cholula who brought us some of the wings.
Cholula hot wings.
Yeah, the hot wings. It didn't last too long here, but that's kind of why we forgot about it.
I had a little bit of the fries and one little piece of the chicken, and the next thing I know, I went up there and I'm looking at an empty cardboard box. So I don't know who did it, but it got done.
Wasn't me.
Yeah, back to the top of the order now with Juan Pierre. JP tripled to get things going in the first inning.
How about another one? Get
Lines
down.
this one.
Oh,
Wow,
good play.
that's a good play, and it's a triple if he doesn't make the catch. Maybe an inside the park home run. That's why John Jay is in there for St. Louis.
That's a nice play. That's a good route. It's a good job to hold on to that ball, too, because sometimes that jarring when you hit the ground, that ball can roll out. See how he covered it up with that second hand?
Yes.
It's a good job right there.
Lance Lynn thinks it's a good job, too.
Ed Lucas had an infield RBI single in the first inning. So on the other side of the coin, the Cardinals, Mike Matheny, Derek Lilliquist, they're looking to see Lynn come back with better command this inning.
I think both pitchers have proven that they've had their struggles. Now it's about figuring it out. And whoever can hold on right here is going to be the one that's going to help their ball club get to the end of this game. They got to throw strikes and get ahead.
Talked about Lance Lynn's transformation, dropping about 40 pounds. A lot of it for him, as he has said, has been lifestyle change, nutrition. I mean, the workout program, he says, is about the same. But most of it has been nutrition and just changing his lifestyle.
You know, I think a lot of things we eat because that's just what we've eaten. That's what we grew up eating, and you have to be able to step outside yourself and eat some things that could be just as good for you, if not better, you know, that are going to have a better effect on your body, on your energy, on your output as an athlete.
I think the interesting thing is that he took this on after an 18-win season and making the All-Star team.
I agree. I think a lot of people will say, oh, he doesn't have as much behind the ball now. That's why he's not throwing as hard. But muscle throw a ball a lot harder than.
I mean, guys, we're not talking about Big Luther and Little Luther here. You know, we're not.
Yeah,
you know, he's still an athlete. He's still strong. He's still a 6'5". And 240, it's not like he's going down to 200 or 180.
Yeah,
he's still a big
still
frame.
Got plenty behind it.
Yeah, there's still plenty behind that ball. He can still hit the high notes.
Great at bat by Ed Lucas.
Let's see what our AT&T Twitter poll has for us this afternoon. Let's see. At 40 and 27, are the Pittsburgh Pirates for real? It's a good question. Yes. Hashtag I matey or hashtag arr. No. So
that was a nice arr there, Tommy. What were you for Halloween?
I liked all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Learned that from Johnny Depp.
What do you think, Preston?
Well, I don't know, but let's first take a look at these NL Central standings with St. Louis at the top, Cincinnati down by 2.5, Pittsburgh pulling up there in third place, and down at the bottom, Chicago and Milwaukee 14 and 15.5 respectively. To me, Pittsburgh is one of those teams where you got to show me. Pittsburgh, you fooled me before. You've shown me you've been good at it the first couple of months, and then you fooled me at the end of the season. So right now, you got to show me. So until it's a yes, it's a no for me. It's a arr, no.
No, I was waiting for the arr. No.
I think they're for real. I mean, they've had a couple of seasons where they've faded. The second half of the season, I think they're a little better this year, and they have the experience.
So you got the eye. Maybe.
I got the eye. Yeah. Lynn runs that fastball in on Stanton. I think Cincinnati's for real. I think they have a solid starting staff. I think they got a terrific offense, so I think they're going to stay right with the Cardinals.
Cincinnati, I have a little bit more belief in than Pittsburgh.
I mean, I'd love to see it just for the fans of Pittsburgh. They suffered for so long. You talk about that ball's well struck.
There's a rocket right center. We see that all the time. Good to see it this year.
Tie ball game. It works.
That's fun to see because we watch that during batting practice. He'll stay and take 3 or 4 rounds and go the other way where no other guys can go to the opposite field. So Giancarlo, home run number 5, just like that, it's 6-6.
He's the only guy in the big leagues, for me anyway, right now that when he takes a full swing and makes good contact with elevation, it goes out of the ballpark every single time. I knew that right off the bat that was going to be a home run. Where everybody else is thinking, oh, get in the gap, maybe get a triple. That guy, you know it's going to be a home run.
When he connects solidly, the velocity of the ball off his bat is unlike anybody else we're seeing today in the game. You know, it's unbelievable the speed that the ball comes off. I haven't seen anything like it lately.
Well, Marlins Park has not been a problem. All 5 of his home runs this year have been here, and he took care of a high fastball. You got a little twitchy on that fastball.
That was my jam. The home run the other way. Oh, man, you can play that any day.
I dispute that. 78 miles an hour off the bat to go that far?
Yeah, I don't know. I think there might be a little jealousy going on the speed gun going on because that ball was harder than 78 miles an hour off the bat.
Chopper to short, handled by Cosma, and he throws out Marcell Ozuna. So the Cardinals put up a 5 spot in the top half of the first. The Marlins came back with 4. The Cardinals added 1 in the second inning on Beltran's home run, and the Marlins have tied it here in the second on the 2-run shot by Stanton.
You know, guys, I hate to beat a dead horse, but you know what? That horse is not feeling it anyway. That ball was a line drive in the opposite gap. That was 8 or 10 rows deep. You know, a line drive the other way. That's not normal power for everybody else in the major leagues.
That's not normal power. No, ever.
It's only the 4th home run allowed by Lynn this year, too. There's a well-hit ball, but scooped up by Cosma. Dietrich is out 6-3, but the Marlins, in the blink of an eye on a Stanton opposite field shot, are back in this game. They have tied it. We'll go to the 3rd. It's 6-6. With us the rest of the way. It's a good ball game. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Miami Marlins. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. First pitch to Freeze. He goes into Stanton territory a little bit to the right. And David Freeze, opposite field shot for Freeze, number 4 on the year. This is where I think, guys, you have to start thinking about a pitching change right away. Because your offense is there today, and you don't want the Cardinals to extend even further.
You came out, you give up 5 in the first. You come back, your team gives you 4 runs. You immediately go out and give up 1 more. They tie the game up for you. Then the very first pitch, you give up a home run. It's time for Red to start thinking about, how he's going to get through the rest of this game.
Because the offense is thinking, come on, man, we just tie this thing up for you.
They're saying 6 runs for us. We've been doing all year. We're getting to it right now.
I had mentioned Nathan Eovaldi back with the ball club, not activated, but scheduled to start Tuesday in Arizona. Had a nice start last night for Jacksonville, 6 innings. Gave up 5 hits, a couple of runs, no walks. So Nate Eovaldi's had 4 or 5 outings and is ready to go.
Boy, there's a power arm for the Marlins I'm looking forward to seeing on a regular basis. Hopefully he can stay healthy and stay in that rotation, because what we saw from him late last year was very impressive.
See, once again, you guys have overruled the crack staff.
We overruled them, and we were correct, sir.
Yeah. I was getting ready to go to Rand Institute if that was 78 miles an hour.
Pete Kozma goes after the first pitch. So after the home run, Kohler has come back and gotten a couple of quick outs.
The crack staff was working hard first inning. I'm a little surprised by this, but I thought both teams batting around the first inning might have been kind of a rare feat, but it was done just less than a year ago. New York Yankees at Boston, they both batted around in the first inning.
In one of those 4.5-hour epic battles, I'm sure.
Yeah. Every battle at Yankee Stadium was 4.5 hours. It didn't matter if it was 1-0 or 22-21.
Right now, the Yankees trying to break a 4-game losing streak.
I would like to know what both of those teams' records are after playing each other, because there's so much energy, so much emotion goes into that series. I wonder what their records are when they leave each other over the past 10 years or so.
Remember in 2003, a good friend of mine, a big Yankee fan, was there for Boston, New York, when Aaron Boone hit that walk-off homer, and he said, you guys are going to win, because that was their World Series. Because of so much energy was expended.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of energy expended on that strike 3 call, but a nice comeback by Tom Kohler. 7-6, Cards lead.
Miguel Olivo is one of the friendlier guys you ever saw in baseball, but he told me a few days ago he was not happy. He had not started in more than a month, and yesterday the Marlins say after batting practice he walked out on the ball club and he was not available, and the Marlins have since placed him on the restricted list. That means no pay for Miguel Olivo, no deal anywhere unless compensation or something is worked out with the Marlins. It's not the kind of list you want to be on, and we talked with Mike Redmond about this, and after the pitch we'll get to his thought, which was that this is something you don't see very often in baseball. As Echeverria drives that one to deep right field.
I've never been involved in something like that when you know, have somebody just leave, you know, after batting practice, and I think, you know, I think everyone was kind of in shock, and I know that, you know, it wasn't an ideal situation for him, not getting to play a lot, but at the same time too, you know, the team relies on you, and we all rely on you, and you know, had that happened after the game, it would have been probably a different situation.
Olivo, a 12-year veteran, hitting .203 with 4 home runs this year, said to the Miami Herald that he asked for the release. The Marlins did not give him the release, and he felt at this point that's what he wanted to do. Back to you.
Yeah, it's a not very good way to handle that situation, and as Red said, it puts the ball club in a jam, because last night, unbeknownst to us, Redmond was a man short on his bench, and you never know.
They were 3 men short.
Well, yeah, with Polanco out, and Lomo.
Lomo out. Little did we know he had a very thin bench.
Well, and that's when you look back at it, that's why Fernandez hit in that last at bat that he had. Because if he had more guys on the bench, he would have used one. But in that situation, Fernandez last at bat, he went up there and hit.
He let him hit, and he let him stay in another inning too. I think we all like that. 2-1 to Dobbs is fouled off. So there's a look at the roster moves with Olivo placed on the restricted list. Jordan Brown, who we've seen left-handed bat, got a couple of key RBIs not too long ago. And we were talking about Nathan Eovaldi, scheduled to start Tuesday in Arizona.
You know, you don't never want to see a player quit. I mean, you know, when you walk away from your team, essentially that's what happens. You quit. You know, but on the other side of it, I do in a way feel for Miguel Olivo, because he's at that point in his career where he at least wants to contribute in some way. You know, and he he had the big game-winning hit a few games ago for the Marlins, home run that he hit late in the game, kind of extended
big home run, Citi Field.
Yeah, extended the lead for him. So it's a tough situation when he felt like I think he felt like he was as good defensively as the other catchers that they have, and you know, I think he felt like his offensive numbers were comparable to what the other guys were having. So he was hoping that there would be a little bit more playing time. Unfortunately, it just didn't happen. But I hope for the best for him, and I hope that he and the Marlins can work that situation out soon.
High fastball gets Dobbs, and I think, Niner, you could address this. From my viewpoint, I think he was liked by most of the team. I think he was a well-liked teammate.
Very much so. Got along with everybody, and a good presence in the clubhouse. And those are the kind of guys you hate to see get in that situation and go. If he was a bad guy, it would be a lot easier to say goodbye to him.
Boy, Rob Brantley had a big base hit in that first inning. A little looping single into center field that drove in 2 runs. $14 RBIs now on the year for Brantley. I think he's recovered from catching that 20-inning game that we were just talking about. And had 4 hits in that game.
No, which is not easy to do, because when you're catching, and it was a day game, so it was a little warm, and you got to sit back there and catch 20 innings, your legs are gone, and sometimes your mind can go, because you've had to concentrate so much receiving the ball and making sure that you're keeping that game, you know, that your team doesn't lose it back there behind the plate. So offensively, you don't have much left.
This ball driven well by Brantley. Jay on the run. He can't get it. Off his glove, and Brantley with his second base hit of the day. This one a double into deep left center field.
Great piece of hitting right here, showing power in the opposite way. John Jay, heck of an effort. Thought he was going to come up with it, but doesn't quite get there.
That is great extension through the ball right there.
Great swing, head down. To hit the ball that far opposite field, you got to have pretty much everything right on the money.
If you're not Giancarlo Stanton.
Okay,
See, that's a normal other guy swing right there, where you hit the ball right on the screws and you hit it the other way and it goes 390.
Yeah.
Up against the wall, 390, well hit. That's what normal humans do.
Well, the out that Lynn has is that he's facing Tom Kohler. He struck Kohler out in the first inning. Kohler picked up a base hit in his last start. It was his first ever major league hit. One foul back. Lance Lynn, just 26 years old. Talked about how a guy can transform himself and lose the weight after winning 18 games. He really didn't have a good last month of the season, though. Things started to go downhill for him.
Well, I think he knows in himself that he started getting fatigued, and I think he feels like one of the ways he can stop that is to be in better shape and not wear down as much through the end of the season.
Well, he's run the count full, 3-2, and Lance Lynn has already thrown 65 pitches. So there's no question this is going to turn out to be a bullpen game. There's 3-2.
Good swing by Kohler. Good at bat.
Just get it ready. You know you're going to get the fastball.
Ooh, good one to hit.
Lynn at 38 strikes, 28 balls right now, 66 total pitches. And the 67th was a good one.
Yeah, and he puts away Tom Kohler. Marlins don't score. We'll go to the fourth inning, 7-6 St. Louis. are back. It's a 7-6 lead. Cardinals over the Marlins as we go to the fourth inning. Welcome back to the Cleveland Clinic fourth inning. It's always nice to have the Cleveland Clinic around for the fourth inning. We like to have them around all 9, but we certainly like them here in the fourth.
Tell you guys, we have seen a lot of pitches already. We're just starting the fourth inning. We've seen 129 pitches between these two starters today.
129.
We might need the Cleveland Clinic for these pitchers. At this rate.
67 for Lynn and 62 for Kohler.
Tom Hallion has another one of those strike 3 calls that he had early in the game. We're going to need to send him there.
John Jay 0 for 1 today. Walked and scored a run in the first inning. It's one hard hop past Greg Dobbs, and Jay has himself a base hit. Now let's hear from Marcell Ozuna in our next promo. All right.
Marlin.com is your one-stop shop from breaking news, tickets, merchandise, and more. You can even pick up your receipt from anywhere in the park. Go to Marlin.com today.
All right.
He's moving up the list to be my favorite Marlin. He really is.
I mean, for someone that doesn't really know the language that well, those are tough words.
Yes.
He's reading off a card, too. Merchandise and
yes.
Unique the last
yes.
time.
And it's not like he didn't have a whole day or whatever to prepare for that. That's when they ask those guys to do that, it's on the spot. You know, they might give him once or twice to run through it, but that's right then and there.
And you add to that mix the handwriting of our award-winning producer, John Sulzer, which is terrible.
Yeah. He's still trying out to be a doctor.
He missed his calling.
Well, they just didn't call back.
1-1 changeup gets Beltran chasing it. Changeup misses. If you weren't with us back in the second inning, Carlos Beltran led things off and just kept it fair. Number 15 on the year for Carlos Beltran. Got a chance for 2, and boy, that's turned nicely by Echeverria, who had to make a quick decision.
You know, Tommy, you said the foul pole. I think that should bring up a good thing. Why is that a foul pole? If it hits
I
it's
understand.
a fair ball.
It's a fair pole. It's a fair pole as well. I can go either way with it. Is it the foul screen or the fair screen? It screen's in fair territory.
Yeah, the screen's in fair territory. Yeah, I just, you know.
But you could also argue that the pole itself distinguishes fair or foul.
It does.
So it's, Preston, it's all about semantics.
It is. And we can get lost. That's stuff that keeps us talking. That's what that is. I still say it should be fair pole, though.
But a quick 2 outs on that double play. Holiday picked. Well, what a nice inning for Echeverria. Nice job by Tom Kohler, who threw just 9 pitches. 7-6, Cardinals lead. Go to the bottom of the fourth. Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Honda. Visit your Honda dealer for a great lease and finance deal on fuel-efficient Hondas. And Kaiser University now offering degrees in sports management. Learn more at kaiseruniversity.edu. Well, the best inning for Tom Kohler was last inning. He threw 9 pitches. He gave up a base hit, but he got a double play ball from Beltran, and he got Holiday to hit a ground ball.
The first goose egg he's put up there against the St. Louis Cardinals today.
Lance Lynn back at it against Juan Pierre. JP up for the 3rd time.
Hey, Juan Pierre swung the bat really well already. Triple, and then the line drive to left center that got caught. If it wasn't for the great diving play by John Jay, he'd be 2 for 2 right now.
He's fouled off a lot of borderline pitches, too, over the last couple of weeks. That's always a good sign of a guy who's locked in a little bit.
I was just going to say that. It's like, I think he's got so much confidence up there right now that when he does get his pitch in the strike zone, he knows he can put the barrel on it. And until then, he'll foul off these nasty pitches in the outside corner.
Which kind of wears down pitchers. Pesky.
That's what I thought when you watched Albert Pujols in his prime. When he was swinging the bat well, he was able to do that. He was able to foul off those really tough pitches and then wait for his pitch to come in the strike zone, and he didn't miss it too often.
Yeah. I played with Albert, and it was the most amazing thing to watch him hit, because you're right, he would foul off pitches, but then pitchers were so afraid of making mistakes to him that the mistake they made were right down the middle. It was almost like there was a funnel going right down the middle. He'd foul off that slider away or that tough fastball, and then that next pitch would be right down the middle. So that, I mean, just that fear that he instilled in pitchers made them make mistakes that they didn't make to other hitters.
He was always a guy that didn't strike out very much. I mean, he was in the top 10 of hardest to fan in the league, and that's saying something for a guy that hits many home runs.
JP battling at bat. He fought off pitch after pitch and then drops one in front of Holiday. 7 multi-hit games during his 11-game hit streak now.
Yeah, this is JP at his best right here. He just wears you down, and then he just finds a hole.
I'm actually surprised that Holiday was playing so deep on him right there.
Well, Holiday doesn't go back on balls as well as some other outfielders, so he prefers to play a little bit deep. That's the one part of his game that is still yet to evolve. He doesn't feel comfortable going back on balls that well.
I mean, where he was playing, I don't think Juan Pierre's ever hit a ball that far opposite field.
Not from home plate.
Ed Lucas, a hitter. Juan Pierre now 8 for 19 on his homestand. Lucas has been on base twice today, scored a couple of runs. Look, chopper rolls foul. There's a look at our Coors Light Cold Hard Fact, which is obviously brought to you by Coors Light. The most rookies used, we talked about this, totally shocked me when I saw the number that the Cardinals have used as many rookies as the Marlins.
Tommy, I wonder how many of those have been pitchers, because when you look at this lineup, it certainly doesn't seem like there's many rookies that are playing in this series, at least.
I would imagine close to half would be pitchers.
Well, they've used 9 pitchers that are 25 years or younger this year. So that's a big chunk of it right there.
Now 1-2 pitch catches Ed Lucas. And Lance Lynn gets the strikeout.
They've had 8 pitchers make their major league debut this year. Butler, Curtis, Gast, Lyons, Maness, Martinez, Seacrest, and Wacha. And for what I've seen, they're all some pretty good live young arms.
Well, here's Giancarlo, who hammered home run number 5, his last AB, over the 392 sign in right center.
The best part about that is his balance. When he completes his swing, he's in a motion where he can just take that step like he's walking towards first base. That's great balance and extension right on that swing.
He's at a point right now, he just looks comfortable in the batter's box.
Well, we saw him early in the year where he was spinning around there a little bit of batter's box. His balance was off, and I think it was due to him just not being on time. That front foot wasn't getting there on time, and it was making everything hurry. So now when you see him getting that front foot down on time, he looks balanced. He doesn't look like he's trying to overswing. He looks really comfortable at the plate.
Frankly, I'm a little surprised that it's come back this quickly. He missed a month and a half with that hamstring injury. I thought it was going to take a little bit more time to get his timing back, but he's been impressive so far.
He didn't see anything in the strike zone.
I wouldn't throw him a strike either if he took me 420 feet the other way.
At 103.8 miles per hour.
Next.
And that's why you'd like to see whoever bats behind Giancarlo, you'd like to see, be it Ozuna, Morrison, whoever, get on a little bit of a hot streak too. Oh for 2 in this one. Still has that average over 300, but we mentioned in a little bit of a tailspin.
Yeah, I just think he needs to have someone in his ear tell him, get back to where you were and stop worrying about the inside part of the plate. Pierre's going to try him. That's productive out. Even though it doesn't look like much, you get the runner over there. Guess it would have been better if it was just 1 out, but it ended up being 2 outs.
And make sure to tune in early next game for the Marlins live pregame show, driven by South Florida Honda dealers.
I think it's going to be key for Marcell Ozuna. Like you said, Tom, he's struggling right now. I think 1 for 18 and 1 for his last 19. To see how he rebounds from this. Does he come back and get on another streak and get hot again, or do you kind of dip below that 300 level and start floundering around 270 and stay there? Hopefully he can gain it back to where he was a couple weeks ago and get hot.
Well, you could also see this happen, which could give him a day or 2 off. Kind of a forgotten man has been Justin Ruggiano. Ruggiano could get a little playing time in center field and let Ozuna clear his head, maybe get back on track.
And we really don't know what type of major league hitter he's going to be yet. We want him to be a 300 hitter just because we like him and we see that he has that potential, but we don't know if he's going to be a 300 hitter yet. So we have to let that play out also and allow him to kind of his abilities to play out where they're going to.
You look at Ozuna's lifetime minor league numbers. His lifetime average in the minor leagues is 272. So it's hard to expect that he would make the transition here and be a 300 hitter here. Two-1 is fouled off. Good pitch for Dietrich to hit. We were talking about the Pittsburgh Pirates earlier. They shut out the Dodgers last night. Pittsburgh leads the league, tossing 11 shutouts. So their pitching's been the key for them.
How about Jason Grilli?
Yeah, picked up his 24th consecutive save.
Out of nowhere. I think his ERA is below 1.
You know, he's a guy who's was one of the top prospects coming out. Had a little injury trouble, went down, but then he retooled himself, got the velocity back. And I tell you what, he's got the mentality of a closer. He really does.
Popped high in the air to the left side. Caught by the third baseman. We'll be back for more Marlins baseball after this sports injury prevention message from Cleveland Clinic, Florida.
Six. This isn't the kind of Cardinal team we've seen all year, the amount of runs they've given up. It is from a hitting standpoint. In fact, the Cardinals are doing something few teams have done over a full season anyhow in baseball history, and that is lead a league, either the National League or the American League, in all three categories. They say hitting, pitching, and defense. Well, they lead in average, the NL, lead in ERA, and leading fielding percentage. And as you see, since 1900, over a full season, only 9 teams have led the league in these categories. The last one to do it in the National League was the St. Louis Cardinals way back in 1946. The Mariners did it in 2001, and 4 of the last 6 teams over a full season to do this have won the World Series. So it is a benchmark, no doubt about it. We'll see if they can keep it up. The Mariners hit .288. That play is made in 2001 to lead the league in hitting. But the Cardinal defense is the best of all the teams, and defense, guys, has improved. If you go back from that old era with those different gloves in 1900 when the Giants led those 3 categories to where it is today. Guys?
Thanks, Craig. And I think we all agree, too, that the defense, it was a discussion we had last evening. When you have pitchers that are in the strike zone and have good command, you can set your defense. And you know and have a better idea where guys are going to hit the ball. And you saw on that list the 0-1 Seattle Mariners. That was the year they won 116 games. No wonder.
No wonder.
They led all
3.
Yeah, no wonder.
It's a pretty magical season, I would say.
You know, it makes me think about the years where the Braves, when they had their big runs, where you'd play them and the game would go 4-1, 2-1, 1-0. And you would think you were in all those games, but you never were. You know, because they never missed the ball when you hit it to them. They made every play, and then every chance something came around for them, they got every sack bunt down, and they made you hit the ball where they wanted you to. So even though you felt like you were in that series, you never were.
Late in the game, I bet they didn't make many errors, as the Cardinals probably are. 2-2 pitch to Yadier Molina.
I know growing up in the Kansas City Royals system, it was all about pitching and defense. That's what they prided themselves on, and that's what they felt won them the World Series in 1985.
Big breaking ball. The curveball misses. 3-2 now to Molina. And he gets Molina to chase that pitch. Now it's time for the Just for Men Auto Stop Foolproof Stats. Giancarlo Stanton last night, 3 for 4. Career, when Stanton has 3 hits, the Marlins are 19-8.
And fans, if you didn't get a chance to tune in last night, those 3 hits were absolute lasers.
It's impressive with the amount of bat speed he got generated through the strike zone. There aren't too many balls that he makes contact with that aren't lasers. Even his ground balls. I've seen him hit ground balls to the left of shortstop that made it to the outfield wall.
Yeah.
That's tough to do.
Yeah, he hit a ground ball last year by the shortstop, and they found the gap. Went all the way to the wall.
What's the quote? All men are created equal. Some are just more equal than others.
Well, after getting a couple of quick outs, all of a sudden Kohler can't find the strike zone. Walks David Freese, who had hit him hard. An RBI single in the first inning, and then that home run to the opposite field in the third. So 83 pitches. I don't think any of us at this point thought that Kohler would still be in this game, but because of the Marlins offense, he's been able to give Mike Redmond at least 4 2/3. He'd like to see him get through this inning.
You know, this hasn't been a great outing for him, but he's made the best of a bad situation by coming back and pitching the way he has his last inning or two.
Descalso down the line. Juan Pierre just can't quite get there.
Saw a picture of Chuck Hernandez on the telephone to the bullpen, seeing if Ryan Webb is heated up and ready to go. I don't think they're going to give Kohler many more batters.
Yeah, you're at the point right now, you just don't want the Cardinals to get any more.
And I'd like to see him finish this inning just to see him get a chance to maybe be, you know, the pitcher of record if a win comes along.
Would that be something if this is the game he actually wins?
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, you know what? That's how baseball is, though. This would be the game that he'd get his first big league win when he's probably pitched as bad as he has all year.
And that, folks, is how crazy this game can be.
See the velocity on that fastball now down to 91 miles an hour. Early in the game, 94, 95. Might be some fatigue setting in.
And Descalso gets his second base hit of the game. Cardinals at first and second with 2 down.
That might chase him right there. I believe that'll do it.
Well, here comes the skipper. And I'm with you. I think Mike Redmond would have liked to seen him finish this inning, too. It was a battle all afternoon. His offense kept him in the game, but that's going to be all for Tom Kohler. Kohler will exit. Looks like Ryan Webb will come in. The Marlins trailing by a run. They'll be right back. in to try to finish off this 5th inning. Now it's time for our FPL scores around the league. Niner, what's it look like?
Well, looks like this, Tommy. Chicago's up over New York in a final, 5-2. The Pittsburgh Pirates we're talking about losing to the Los Angeles Dodgers right now, 3-1. Colorado stomping on Philadelphia in the top of the 5th. San Francisco's topping Atlanta 5-2. Milwaukee over Cincinnati in the 6th. And the late game on the West Coast, Arizona and San Diego getting ready to kick off at 10:10 Eastern Time.
And right here it's Ryan Webb coming on to face Pete Kozma to try to keep it a 7-6 ball game. If you just tuned us in, you missed a lot of action. The Cardinals started the game off with 5 runs on 4 hits in the 1st inning. They batted around. The Marlins batted around in the bottom of the 1st and scored 4 times. Cardinals got 1 in the 2nd on Beltran's home run. Marlins got 2 on Stanton's home run. Freese hit a home run, and it's 7-6 St. Louis. Here's our Cholula hot sauce player profile. Born in Tulsa. Had a scholarship from Wichita State, but ended up signing. Cardinals' 1st-round pick. There's a shot. Dietrich with the dive. Smothers it, but can't make the play, but keeps a run from scoring.
Dietrich kind of overshoots this ball a little bit, hits him in the heel of the glove instead of in the glove itself. Couldn't bounce back. See it right there. Hit him almost in the wrist, it looked like.
That'd be a base hit, but the key is the fact that he was able to at least knock it down and keep a run from scoring. So the bases are loaded now.
I do think he did a good job by keeping that ball on the infield, though, because you don't want the outfielder to have to make a throw to stop that run. So he kept that on the infield. Still a manageable situation.
Now Webb works to the pitcher, Lance Lynn. Lynn had a sac bunt in the 1st inning, struck out in the 3rd. And Lynn slaps it into right field. It'll drop. Stanton over to get it. 1 run in. 2 runs come in to score. And Lance Lynn with 2 RBIs on a base hit to right field, and that one hurts.
Sometimes in the National League you think, well, it's the pitcher, but you still have to make a pitch. That pitch is dead center middle height, and middle width of the strike zone. So most major league hitters, whether a pitcher or not, can put a swing on that ball. That ball ends up driving in 2 runs.
And unfortunately unfortunately for Tom Kohler, both runs are charged to his line. Now Webb has to deal with John Jay. Couldn't hold back, and it's 1-1. Cardinals have 10 hits to go along with their 9 runs. The Marlins have 7 hits with their 6 runs. High chopper. Echeverria gets it and gets John Jay at first, but the damage has already been done by Lance Lynn. A couple of runs for the Cardinals. They take a 9-6 lead.
simple por Zap.
As always, let's say hi to our good friends Cookie and Raul. Cookie, Raul, how you doing?
Hey, good, guys. How are you guys?
You know what? It's an interesting game. It's been sloppy in a way, but the Marlins have been able to battle. They're getting some offense.
Well, that's for sure. When they score 5 runs in the first inning, you thought for a moment that this is over, you know. But all of a sudden, you see the Marlins coming back with 4 runs and not giving up. It happens that Mr. Kohler don't estaba in his best day, and the same thing happened to Mr. Lynn. You know, you have the best pitcher on the mound, and the Marlins came back and tied this game up. So it's going to be a long afternoon, gentlemen.
Yeah. I'll ask you guys, do you think this new outlook is due to maybe Stanton coming back, or do you think it's just maybe the evolution of the team maturing throughout the season, starting to get more confident?
I think that the latter is the case, Preston. I think they're finally getting comfortable and realizing that they're all here to help each other out and not one guy having to carry the load, especially for the young guys. I think young guys tend to want to take the initiative and be the guys to step up and respond for their team. And in this case, I think it's taken a while, but fortunately there's still half a season to go, so we can hopefully build on what they're doing now at this stage of the season.
Because I think that if the Marlins of 2 weeks ago had a 5-0 lead, like Cookie said, we'd be thinking about a loss.
Well, no question about it. And you also have to think about the fact, you know, of what they have gone through. You know, even when they were playing bad and all of a sudden starting a little bit better, you know, Coughlin, who was starting to hit the ball, all of a sudden he's out of the lineup. Then we get Morrison back, and Morrison gets out of the lineup because he gets the bat back. Polanco with the bat back. And then Stanton steps in and starts taking over a little bit on the RBI since now Osuna is in a small slump. But I believe there's a lot of confidence that you can see the young kids getting better and better and going through a lot of stuff that we didn't see at the beginning of the season. And I think that's a good sign. That's a great sign. Let's hope that we can get everybody together at the same time. And I'll tell you, it'll be a different part of the second year this year after the All-Star game.
I think one of those guys, Cookie, just had a great at-bat. Singled into center field. Echeverria with his second hit. Has swung the bat a lot better lately.
Guys, that's a word, confidence, that gets thrown around a lot, but some people don't put a lot of stock into it. It seems like in baseball, if there's one sport where it's important, it would be this one, right? Confidence, especially for the hitters.
It's monumentally important. As a hitter, if you're not confident, you don't have a chance, in my book.
I think especially because you're dealing with something that there's so much failure involved. You have to have the ability to bounce back from an 0 for 3 or 0 for 4 day to believe that you're still as good as you were before then to go out there and get your job done.
And I think also the confidence that Redmond has given Echeverria, you know, for a shortstop that is starting to play for the first time in the big leagues, he's played outstanding defense. I mean, you don't see any better than that. But still, he wasn't hitting as good, and all of a sudden he gave him the confidence that you're going to be my shortstop no matter what. And I think that builds up into Echeverria, where we're starting to come back a little better now.
All right, good stuff. Cookie, Raul, thanks a lot. You guys have a good game.
You too, guys.
Thanks.
Always a pleasure. Okay.
That's some well-spoken words by Cookie, talking about the confidence. You guys know that. If you go up to the batter's box and don't think you're going to get a hit, you're not.
You are not.
It's a tough game. You know, it really is. And they can play mind games with you, and you'll see a lot of guys who get mired in the minor leagues because they can't overcome the mental adjustments that you have to make to be a major leaguer.
Little Lupert stays fair. Greg Dobbs is going to have extra bases. Yes, he does. And Echeverria goes over to third. So the first 2 batters, and I know Lynn would like to get through this inning so he can qualify for a win, but the Marlins are not going to give up, and they're making it hard on him.
It's a great piece of hitting by Greg Dobbs. We saw him do this yesterday. On a pitch is a foot outside, and he gets enough barrel on it to keep it fair. Probably broke his bat on that one too, but really, really good piece of hitting. Oh, by the way, word of the day for Preston, mired. Word number 1 for the day is mired. Very nice, Preston.
Not good to be mired.
No.
But great to see Dobbs with that swing, 7th double of the year. And here's Brantley with runners at second and third. Another solid swing by Rob Brantley. In comes Jay. It'll bring home Echeverria. Sacrifice fly by Brantley, who's hit the ball hard all 3 times. Marlins pick up another run. It's 9-7. So you know this is going to be the last inning for Lance Lynn. He's going to deal with the left-handed bat of Jordan Brown. Jordan Brown recalled, and Miguel Olivo was placed on the restricted list.
Jordan Brown only 8 at-bats on the season, but 3 hits, and big ones at that. Has driven in 5 runs with those 3 hits.
So if you're going to be that big of a person, you might as well get some big hits.
Yeah, he came up, was here for a couple of weeks, had a start, a sac fly, a big base hit, and all of a sudden, yeah, he drove in some key runs. Both teams doing a pretty good job today with runners in scoring position. One is fouled off.
Marlins have improved about 10 points in that category, with men in scoring position up to 236 now, after being in the low 220s for a while. Cardinals are going to be going up today. They were hitting 339 coming in today on as a team for men in scoring position.
High fastball against Jordan Brown. That's out number 2. Let's check in with Marcelo Zuna on a promo.
Don't miss Family Sunday tomorrow as we take on the Cardinals at 1:10. Celebrating Father's Day at the ballpark. En order que a Marlin Fedora courtesy of preferred care partner. Visit marlin.com for tickets.
Juan Pierre with a couple of base hits today, 2 for 3, a line drive out. Has an 11-game hitting streak. And has been a real pest for Lance Lynn today.
That's just Juan Pierre being Juan Pierre. You want him in that situation. You like him in that situation because now he's causing trouble for the other pitcher. He's making them always think about him. Fouling off pitches, he's mentally draining. When he gets on base, they have to worry about him being able to steal a base. So he's doing what he needs to do.
Good breaking ball by Lynn. Now you guys got the fedoras ready. I usually save mine for the fantasy auction down at the Clevelander when Rich and I do the game from down there.
So you're too good for us right now to put yours on?
No, mine's back there. I couldn't go get it.
A little too cool for school.
Yeah, that's right. But they look good on you guys.
Well, thank you very much.
Lynn goes back to the breaking ball 0-2.
Another one of those guys that you always see in the top probably 3 or 4 as far as hard to strike out is Juan Pierre. And like you said, Preston, he's kind of a pest right now, especially when he's going hot. Always making contact, always fouling balls off, trying to get on base, and then becomes a worrisome base runner when he's on for the pitcher. Always trying to.
Got in on him with that pitch. Descalso makes a play. Juan Pierre's gone. The Marlins get a run. Make it a little bit closer. It's 9-7 St. Louis. lead. They have 10 hits. Marlins have 9. Let's take a look at our Toyota trends for today. St. Louis have not lost the first 2 games of the series. Wow. I believe they've only lost 2 series all year. So A.J. Ramos comes on, tries to hold the Cardinals in hopes of the offense putting some more up on the scoreboard. Tom Kohler went 4 2/3, gave up 8 hits and 9 runs. Unfortunately, those last 2 runs charged to his line. Ryan Webb with the 3rd of an inning gave up a couple of hits. And now it's Ramos. What have you guys liked about Ramos that you've seen?
Well, you got to love the arm. Velocity, usually mid to upper 90s. Got a good slider. The thing that is troublesome so far this year, 33 innings pitched, 17 walks. He can get that down, those strikes, the base on balls down. He's going to have a lot more success.
Yeah, I like the arm also. I think it's a good live arm, good live fastball. But there again, in order to pitch in the major leagues, you have to be able to throw strikes so that you don't put your team in that situation where you're giving your opponents extra base runners to do damage on you, and that's been his downfall so far.
Especially against a team like the Cardinals, you do not want to give out any extra base runners.
There's that good changeup. Well, there's a great story about Carlos Beltran, who donated over $4 million to a school in his name. He flew back to Puerto Rico on the off day to attend the graduation of the first 12 kids of the graduating class of his school, which is somewhat of a baseball academy. You play baseball. There are many at the school who don't. But all 12 of the kids who graduated are on their way to college to play baseball.
That's outstanding.
Rolls one out to second. Dietrich with the play, and Beltran is gone.
I think baseball, or even teams in general, should do a better job of letting us know, the public, about stories like that, about Carlos Beltran and how many good things a lot of these guys do in the community. And they're not, just selfish ball players. That a lot of these guys are out in the community doing really good things.
He received 12 different letters from 12 sets of parents of the 12 kids that were graduating.
I think a lot of us early, and I know I did the same thing. It's hard to get in that mode to be self-promoting, because from day one you're taught to, don't make a big deal out of the things that you're doing. But later on in my career, I saw guys like Kurt Schilling, who was always promoting the things that he was doing. So it makes you realize then it's okay. But by then, for some guys, it's too late.
Yeah.
So I mean, when I was here, I had the Preston's Palace thing. And I know different ball clubs. You had a different foundation things going on. So it's hard to get out of that mode because you feel like you're self-promoting, but really it's a platform to introduce the things that you're doing.
Yeah, it also creates awareness for whatever cause you may be championing at that point.
Well, A.J. Ramos ahead of Holiday, 0-2. Off the end of the bat, and it's going to drop for a base hit. When you're big and strong, you can do that. Get ready, fans, for Fox Sports 1, America's new 24-hour sports network. Fox Sports 1 will be your home for great live sports. All the news and highlights you want, and shows and specials that only Fox could bring you. Fox Sports 1, coming August 17th. Alan Craig takes a breaking ball. So Holiday has a couple of hits. Cardinals with 11 hits in the ball game. Look at that, 50 RBIs for Alan Craig. The Marlins are going to be seeing the National League RBI leader next week, Paul Goldschmidt. the Diamondbacks. Brandon Phillips, second in the league. Carlos Gonzalez, third. Craig in that top 5 with his 50. Lofted and slicing foul. Did you get a chance? Who was here? Were you here, Preston, or were you Niner for the series with the Diamondbacks?
Here, I was.
Get a chance to see Paul Goldschmidt?
Yes.
Impressive.
Very impressive. One of those under the radar guys. You know, he was one of the guys we put on our list of most underrated players in the National League. You really don't hear much about him, but man, electrifying talent. First base, big, strong guy, has tremendous power, and he's really taken it to the National League this year.
Ramos picks the chopper and gets the out at second. A little low throw, but a nice pick by Echeverria. Nice to have good hands at short when you make that throw.
Ramos showed some good quick feet there as well to get his body in position to throw that ball to second base. Chopper, he waits on it nicely. Very infielder-like.
Yeah, it was. He kind of had his body angle set, ready to make that throw as the ball was coming in, and all he had to do was turn and find a target.
And you know, if you're Echeverria and you know the runner's Holiday, he's going to be coming at you pretty good.
Well, you know he's going to be coming in large.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Very controversial play in the playoffs last year when Holiday went into second base and really took care of Marco Scutaro. Everyone in the San Francisco Giants bench thought it was a dirty slide, and kind of late, but
if memory serves me, Scutaro did stay in the game, though.
He did.
But was hurt.
Yes, he was.
The batter is Yadier Molina. Molina 1 for 3. Keeping his average over 350, 351 now to be exact. When he was more defense and not the hitter that he is now, he appeared to just go up without an idea and swing, but now it really looks like he has an idea.
Now every time he goes up there, he knows what he's trying to do. He understands what the pitcher's trying to do to him. So he has much more of a purpose when he's at the plate.
Boy, there's an idea on a line drive, but right to Derek Dietrich, and that's all for the Cardinals in the 6th. Go to the bottom of the 6th. Cardinals still lead 9-7. Make a pitching change, but have a 9-7 lead. The freeze cam is brought to you by Frostbrewed Coors Light. Let's check it out. It's Juan Pierre again.
Juan Pierre is going to be seeing that tonight when he's sleeping, wishing that would have been on the grass instead of in his glove.
Well, the new pitcher's right-hander, Seth Maness. Been in 18 games, has a good record. Nothing out of the ordinary. Fastball, sliders, a little bit of a short arm type delivery. And one of those young pitchers, Preston, that you were talking about, out of that bullpen.
Well, the one thing you see is he's got good, sharp, late movement on that two-seamer.
And he works fast. You better be ready.
24-year-old out of East Carolina University.
Oh, Pirates.
Yeah, you're right. He doesn't waste any time. I looked down at my scorebook. He was in his windup.
The defense loves that. Loves a guy that gets out there and steps on the mound and throws it.
Good play by the first baseman, Alan Craig. And it appears that most every pitcher that the Cardinals have works fast.
It's something that they talk about. They want you to get on the rubber, get the ball, and get going. They don't even like you walking around. You know, some pitchers will get the ball, they throw a pitch and they walk around the mound. They don't want you spending time walking around. They feel like that wastes energy, wastes time.
Hey, there he goes. He's ready to go. And that is easy to teach. I can't believe everybody doesn't do that. You can't teach a guy to throw 95. You can't teach a guy to throw a hard slider. But you know what? Everybody can work fast.
And I bet you it's not a coincidence that the St. Louis Cardinals are #1 in defense because of that. That helps keep your players alert, active on their toes.
Another line drive. Giancarlo is locked in. He's 2 for 3 today. A line drive home run in the second inning, a 2-run shot, and look at this one.
I mean, I just look at his balance. When that swing is completed, he's ready to basically walk towards first base. He doesn't have to get situated because he's overswung or tied up. Nice balance. Now look at it. Just pick that back leg up, young man, and go to first base right there. That's it. That's nice.
Seeing that pitch, which was very similar to the pitch he hit for the home run, Maness has to be happy that he kept it in the ballpark. There's a chopper, picked, and bobbled by Descalso. Had a chance to be a double play, but it's no error, just force out at second base on the bobble by Daniel Descalso.
This is what you call a tailor-made double play. He just loses the grip on the transfer.
Yeah, I think that's Stanton just making a business decision right there. He goes, you know, been on a deal this year. I've had a few lumps. If I know I got no chance of breaking that up, I'm just going to get out of the way and let nothing bad happen.
That's going to take, I think, a few weeks for him to realize he can go 100% on that hamstring.
Boy, that ball was hit hard by Dietrich. A little bobble again by Descalso. He makes the play. Marlins are gone. We'll go to the 7th, 9-7 Cards. of work. The Cardinals have a 9-7 lead. Boy, just you always hate to see this. Alex Cobb, right-hander of the Tampa Bay Rays, in a ball game today, courtesy of the Rays and Sun Sports, takes a line drive. That's never really good to see. He's been taken to Bayfront Medical Center in St. Pete. He is conscious, and that is all we know, and we just surely wish the best for Alex Cobb, who's a terrific pitcher.
Oh, that's a scary sight.
You forget about that. 60 feet 6 inches away, and even when the pitcher finishes delivery, he's even closer.
You think about, we have these stats of velocities off the bat,
and that one right back up the middle. So a base hit by David Freese starts things for the Cards in the 7th inning. Was it last year Brandon McCarthy, who pitched a really nice game for the Diamondbacks against the Marlins here, and you don't know if it was any lingering effects, but just recently in a restaurant had a seizure. I think he's okay, but you never know. So all our best to Alex Cobb. Descalso, the hitter. He's got a couple of hits. Freese has 3 hits. Beltran with a home run. Holiday with a couple of hits. Craig has a base hit. Molina with a hit.
Well, hit and run there. The 7th inning.
They're looking to try to tack on 1 or 2 more runs to try to give themselves some breathing room. That's a sign that they know that the Marlins offense has life in it. If a manager feels comfortable with that, he doesn't feel the need to do that in the 7th inning, put on a hit and run. But he feels like the Marlins offense has signs of life in it, so let's make sure we get ourselves a little more cushion here.
One changeup misses. 2-1 now to Daniel Descalso. Descalso had a great division series against the Nationals. 6 for 19, hit a couple of home runs. Good breaking ball, 2-2. And always, guys, one of Rich Waltz's favorite players, because they are both from UC Davis, University of California, Davis.
Rich, a middle infielder as well.
Rich on assignment this afternoon in Oakland, actually, for the Seattle Mariners Oakland A's game. He will be back to be in the booth tomorrow after a nice red-eye flight, and the attack of the analysts is over. For now.
For now, anyway.
There goes the runner again, and Descalso just rings one and keeps it fair. Stanton's been busy in that right field corner. Holding up at third is Freese. Daniel Descalso with his 3rd base hit of the day.
I will say this, the one thing that Stanton has gotten a lot better at is playing the ball down in the corner. Last year, there was a few times where that ball goes down in the corner and he was going to kick it around or maybe underplay it a little bit and the ball gets by him. He's learned to play that corner very well now, and he's handling those opportunities.
Do you agree? Do you think he's probably been tested more with the hamstring in the outfield than running the bases?
Absolutely.
I think the biggest problem when you have a muscle injury is just understanding that it's okay to let it go. The muscle is usually healed and it's ready to go far before the player is willing to push it to that full extent.
Well, as a player, when you injured it, it was an overextension of some sort, and pushing that thing to the max And I think your mind says, hey, I don't want to go that far again, as you might have another injury. So I think for a little bit longer, when he's able to control it, like on the bases, we're not going to see him run probably as well as he normally does.
But that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because you want him in the lineup.
He can jog out around the bases all he wants to. That's fine.
Oh, 1 pitch, a strike. You wonder, because Mike Redmond talked about it. He's going to be careful with Giancarlo. You wonder if maybe tomorrow would be a day that he would get the day off, especially since the team has to hop on an airplane and fly about 4.5 hours to Arizona. I think a lot of that will depend on how Giancarlo feels.
Tell you what, if I was swinging the bat like he was right now, I would not want to come out of the lineup.
Good fastball by Ramos. Pete Cosma's gone. And let's check in. I love doing this with Marcell Ozuna.
There are several ways to connect to Marlin fans just like you. Go to marlin.com/connect for a list of players on Twitter, Instagram, and more. Share your thoughts at hashtag Let's Go Fish.
We love it. We love it. He's putting it out there, and he's enjoying it.
Guys, you think Marcell Ozuna has any idea what a hashtag is?
You know what? I don't put it past anybody under the age of 30 to know what a hashtag is. My daughter's 10 and she knows what a hashtag is. So I'm going to go on the side of yes for him.
You know what? I think he might, but I don't think he has a Twitter account. I think he had one. I think he just shut it down. He says, hey, I'm up here to play in the big leagues.
Not a bad idea.
So the pinch hitter's Matt Adams. We saw him last night. A guy with a lot of power, a guy who can swing the bat.
Yeah, I think you have to be really careful in this day and age with the Twitter accounts to make sure that you're not doing anything out there that's offensive, that could hurt you as a person or, reflect poorly on your ball club. That's the last thing you want. So maybe it's the best thing to just have that thing shut down and just call your friends on the phone or something.
What? Nobody calls their friends anymore.
You can at least text.
That's like so 2000s there, Preston.
Oh, man.
0-2 fastball outside. Yeah, you can't even use the term, I'm going to dial up a friend. Years ago, this might even be beyond you guys.
Oh, don't even go there.
There we go.
The rotary dial
this
phones.
better be at least be like a passenger pigeon sign or something. Because if it's anything dealing with a telephone, I'm not buying it.
Well, before cell phones, when you're in the hotel room, if you made a long distance call, you had to dial 8. Dial 9 local number, dial 8. So if a guy went deep for a home run, he dialed 8. That's a little retro talk. Brantley couldn't quite hang on. It's still 2-2. Matt Adams has 6 pinch hits, 6 for 17 this year. And he's a guy that can just plug in at first base when they want to give Craig a little time off.
Pretty decent replacement. Big power hitting left-hander.
Yeah, he's only hitting 324.
Got him.
And he got the bat.
You got the bat. That'll show you.
Making me strike out like that.
Great slider. Pitchers love to hear that crack of bat, don't they?
Oh,
if you
yeah.
do it yourself or they do it for you, they love to hear that sound.
See, if I were a pitcher, that'd really be cool to see a guy get that mad. John Jay knocked down by Ramos, and he gets out of a little trouble. Cardinals don't score. It's still 9-7 St. Louis. We'll go to the 7th inning stretch. Auto Nation. We're going to go a little long ball with you. Carlos Beltran, his 15th of the year for the St. Louis Cardinals. How about a fastball out over the plate? Giancarlo to right center, his 5th of the year. In the 3rd inning, the Cardinals got another one from David Freese. There have been some scoring other than the home runs. Juan Pierre with a couple of hits, extending his hitting streak to 11 games. Rob Brantley has 2 hits in the game and 3 RBIs. Echeverria with a couple of hits. So the Marlins offense has been there, right now trailing by a couple here in the bottom of the 7th.
And with that game sum, Tommy, all good stuff for the home run challenge.
Oh, tremendous stuff.
$12,500 for each home run hit today in Major League Baseball.
So let's see, 37.5.
We're doing our part.
Familiar left-hander on the mound, Randy Choate, comes in for the Cardinals. He's been a pretty good mix for St. Louis because they have a bunch of different styles out there. They have the hard throwers, and then they bring in the veteran Choate,
who does not fall into the hard thrower category, but extremely effective against left-handers.
On that 6-3 put out. Let's check in with Craig.
Tommy, thank you very much. It's an old face here today. The Marlins minor league coordinator Dave Berg, who played for the Marlins in the late 90s and into the 2000s. And then the Jays, here he is. He's now the Marlins infield coordinator. He's been managing the minor league system for a couple of years. And he had really a spectacular rookie year, which is sometimes forgotten. It's the 2nd best in Marlins history, behind only Chris Coughlin. Prior to, I guess, this series, a little before that, Marcell Ozuna so far this year was up over that 321. And look at the guy we had to include at the 8th best average ever in Marlins history, and that is Jeff Conine, hitting, as he reminded me today, not 282, 292 in 1993. But how about Berge? Had a good career, hit 269.
Always good to see Berge.
Good utility infielder.
Yeah, he managed a few years in the organization. Now he's a roving infield instructor. He said he's going to go out on the road, follow some clubs a little bit. So good to see Berge, always.
Dave Berg, one of my all-time favorite people. Nothing summed up Dave Berg like when you went in the clubhouse and you saw over his locker was a picture of his boat, and it was a picture of his daughter in his boat. Those are the only 2 things that can make him smile. That's it.
Greg Dobbs had a double his last time up. He's been hit by a pitch, struck out, so 1 for 2.
Randy Choate signing a 3-year deal with these St. Louis Cardinals to come in and do exactly what he's doing, a left-handed specialist.
Kind of slings it up there. Fastball, sliders.
There's all types of motion that you have to eliminate when he's up there pitching, because he's got the leg kick, throws that front elbow at you, he kind of dips down to the side. You have to just make sure you focus strictly on the baseball and wash all that other stuff out.
There you go from the 84, 85 miles an hour from Randy Choate. You have Trevor Rosenthal down in the bullpen, who's about 95. There's that big sweeping breaking ball. 2 outs now here in the bottom of the 7th.
Well, Brantley's looking good today. 2 for 2 with a sac fly. It's a great offensive day so far for him.
Nice to see his swing start to come around, kind of like we saw last September.
Last September, I think we were extremely impressed with the quality of at-bats, not only the way he hit the ball, but the quality of at-bats that he had, especially against left-handers.
See, that phrase in itself is never said about a right-handed guy that comes up from the major leagues.
Nope.
You never hear a guy say, oh, he has great at-bats, especially against right-handers if he's a right-handed batter. Why are major leagues so enamored with left-handed hitters when they always have to make exceptions for them?
Because they never see lefty pitchers. There's so few.
Well, another thing that you never hear a guy say about a right-handed hitter, boy, he has that nice right-handed sweet swing.
Yeah, it's always a lefty.
It's always a lefty.
Yeah, if I name sweet swing, name one that comes to your mind right away.
Edgar Martinez.
That's pretty sweet.
Oh, see,
he was a righty.
He came up with a righty.
I had that locked and loaded.
I know you did.
Somebody check my pocket. I got him in there somewhere.
I say Ken Griffey Jr.
Nice.
How about a Joey Votto?
I like it.
What about Will Clark?
Yeah.
One of the best.
Yeah.
I cannot believe you're drinking the left-handed Kool-Aid too, Konai. I'm upset about that.
I'm drinking Kool-Aid, you're drinking Haterade. What's up with that?
Hey, that's my favorite drink. What about Pujols? What about Mike Trout? Those aren't 2 nice swings?
They're nice. They're not sweet.
They're not sweet.
Come
they're
on.
Nice.
They're nice.
They're
That's
successful.
Nice swing.
Well, look, my family has a history of diabetes, so I'm not going to go for the sweet swing. I'll go for the nice swing.
There's a sweet breaking ball there that gets Brantley, and Choate comes in, puts the Marlins down 1-2-3. We'll go to the 8th inning. Cards still hold on to a 2-run lead. Redbirds have a 2-run lead, 9-7. It's been so long, I forgot what the poll question was, but we'll go back to it. Our AT&T U-verse Twitter poll. Oh, now I remember. Are the Pirates for real? Yes is hashtag I'm 80. 82% say yes. So not as many R's.
I was expecting it to be a few more no's. I was expecting a few more of those.
Not as many today. But a good question. We talked about the Pirates. They're pitching. They lead the league in 11 shutouts. They're 40-27 coming into play today.
If you look at where the Pirates were this time last year, it was about the same as they are now, and everyone was thinking they were going to finally end that streak of 18 losing seasons, or 19?
19.
And that's why I hope they do well, but I feel like they have to prove it to me from this point on.
I think a lot of Pirate fans feel the same way, and they ended up finishing 79-83 last year. Yeah, 1992 was the last year the Pirates were over 500. 500 or better. There's that sweet swing of Carlos Beltran into the gap. Thinking of pulling up at second, but there was a little bobble, a little misplay out in center. That could be an error charge to Ozuna, and Beltran ends up at third base.
Well, I think it should be an error charge because he definitely was not thinking about going 3 until he saw the ball bobble.
Watch the swing. There it is. And watch the play in center field.
Yep.
No error charge. Beltran with a triple.
Well, in that case right there, when that ball kicks like that, he should just let Giancarlo Stanton get that ball. You're both there. You have to trust your guy that if something unusual happens and you're both there, trust your guy that's in a position to handle that ball. He was there for the ball up against the fence. Giancarlo was there for the carom.
Matt Holliday with an infield base hit in the first inning, singled in the 6th inning. Guy who won a batting title with the Rockies back in 07. Played 50 doubles that year, 36 home runs, hit .340. Now in his 5th year with the Cardinals.
Boy, time flies, huh? It doesn't seem like he's been with the Cardinals that long.
You know what? As soon as I said that, I said thought the same thing.
Ramos was trying to do what most pitchers do with Holliday in this situation. They're trying to crowd him in to keep him from extending those big, long arms. And they are big.
You see the distance between his feet and the plate. Boy, he's got a lot of room in there, the inside part of that plate, just for that reason. They do like to count him in.
Well, the most amazing thing about this game is if the Marlins can't get back and tie it, regain the lead, Lance Lynn, who went 5 innings and gave up 9 hits and 7 runs, will be the winning pitcher.
What were we saying about his run support before
it was almost
started?
7 a game. Yeah. Kind of a different ball club with that triple of Beltran. It's like Dan Jennings getting loose. It's only the 7th triple for the Cardinals this year. The Brewers had 5 in the series against the Marlins.
Well, you mentioned how the St. Louis Cardinals don't have many stolen bases, so I don't think team speed is that great. And the St. Louis ballpark isn't as conducive to triples as Marlins Park.
This ballpark plays very large in the gaps. it's one of those ballparks that you look at the numbers and you say 386 in the left center gap and 392 in the right center gap. It actually plays bigger than that, or it seems like it's bigger than that.
And that's not even the right center gap. The right center gap would be over like where the Health Sun sign is.
This is true.
Foul back by Craig. Actually, the only batter, believe it or not, in the Cardinal lineup without a base hit. Craig has scored a run. He was hit by pitch and scored in the first inning.
Had a really solid hit a few innings back that Juan Pierre made a great play out in left field on.
Good play by Brantley to knock down that breaking ball. Nine runs, 14 hits for the Cards, 7 runs, 10 hits for the Fish. Along with Jeff Conine, Preston Wilson, I'm Tommy Hutton. We will have Rich Waltz back in the booth tomorrow. There's a shot past Echeverria. That ball was stung by Craig. You know, it's so easy to say, hey, if he picks that ball, it's a double play. But that ball was a rocket.
Scalded. I think that's one of those plays where you, as an infielder anyway, you throw your glove out there and you hope that it goes in because there's just no time to react. That is just a missile.
Well, Mike Redmond out talking to home plate umpire Tom Hallion. Looks like he's going to make a double switch. That's the 7th different Cardinal with Craig to get a base hit. First of all, everybody in the lineup with at least 1 hit. And it's the 7th Cardinal with an RBI today. It looks like Polanco is going to come in and play third. Dobbs appears to be leaving the ball game, so that would put Ed Lucas over to first base. Dan Jennings is coming in. Hey, we'll sort this all later when we come back. Cards lead by 3. Comes into the game. He'll play third base. Moving over across the diamond, Ed Lucas is the new first baseman. Greg Dobbs comes out of the game. Dan Jennings will hit in his spot. Polanco will hit in the 9th spot. And so far, for the young left-hander, it's been a job well done in his work. pitched a couple of good innings the other night against the Milwaukee Brewers. But it's never easy, and it's one of the things, Niner, when you look at this lineup, the Cardinal lineup, it's deep. They can extend. They have guys down the bottom of the order that can hit.
We mentioned earlier in the broadcast how in this lineup today they have the least amount of RBIs is 21, which would be the best on the Marlins team right now. And this guy at the plate is just as hot as they get.
Well, base hit by Molina, no play at the plate. Holiday comes in to score. And the Cardinals just keep on hitting.
No, that's not a bad pitch. That ball is actually down in his zone. Molina does a really good job going down to get it. You know, the unfortunate thing is whenever a team sees the ball go to Juan Pierre, they're just going to keep waving him. They're going to force him to throw somebody out. And, you know, unfortunately, it hasn't happened that much this year.
Not sure why Holiday was sliding right there. Anytime I could avoid getting in the dirt, I did it because I was not a very good slider, and I would get strawberries all the time.
A chance for two, and the 6-4-3 double play is turned. So one of the few times, the only time today that the Marlins have retired David Freese. He was 3 for 3 in that at bat, but grounds into that 6-4-3 double play.
Another quality pitch by Dan Jennings. Preston, you mentioned how that pitch to Molina was actually a good pitch. He just was even a better hitter at that point.
You know, Jennings can feel good about the pitches that he's throwing. Unfortunately, Molina did a great job hitting that pitch, but he threw another quality pitch and got himself a double play.
Another guy that's had a 3-hit game, Daniel Descalso, 3 for 4.
Now with 22 RBIs on the year, he's the low man of the totem pole in this lineup.
He has 22 RBIs and he doesn't even play every day.
Well, I'll tell you that RBIs, of course, you got to have people getting on, but there's also a certain type of knowledge that goes with driving in runs that you have to acquire. And the Marlins have a very young ball club, young lineup, and they'll get there, but they don't have the wealth of knowledge and experience that this Cardinals lineup has.
Fastball misses.
You know, and a lot of times driving in runs, the first thing you have to do is get rid of your ego, especially if you're one of the big guys in the lineup, because that pitcher isn't just going to throw you fastballs right down the middle. So you got to be willing to take a single or get that RBI ground out.
Yeah, Dan Jennings, so far, we've talked about the job he's done. His 10th appearance. Opposing batters hitting below 200 against him. Good pitch there. 3-2 now to Descalso.
Good live fastball, and you know Dan Jennings has always been one of those guys where he's been on that prospect list. I think they've just been waiting for him to mature enough to get him out there where he can string together runs like he has right now with 9 1/3 innings and an ERA less than 1.
Pitch gets away from Brantley. Another run comes in to score, and it's 12-7 Cardinals. I don't expect it. Brantley certainly didn't expect it. A 3-2 pitch missing that badly.
Well, that's one of the things that has kind of held Jennings back, is he'll do that, or he'll be wild in the strike zone. And that's been kind of the things that are holding him back from having the success that they know that he's capable of having.
Well, the frustrating part, when Ryan Webb came in, gave up a couple of base hits, the 2 runs that were on were tagged to the Tom Kohler line. These runs all going to A.J. Ramos. And that's why you can't judge a short reliever by his ERA.
Exactly. It's a more telling stat when you go to the inherited runners that have scored.
Ball pulled hard. Polanco is there. The sure hands makes the play. But the Cardinals tack on 3 more in the 8th and take a 5-run lead as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Well, let's go to Craig.
Are we on? Thank you, guys. I didn't mean to interrupt, but
we on?
Yeah, we're with the Miami Model Citizens here. Well, here there's a group. How many in your group?
Right now, about 10-15 of us is here and present.
All right, poker players may recognize too, but she's with the World Poker Tour. Royal Flush, is that right?
Royal Flush Girl, yeah.
Royal Flush Girls. But today you're here. Your group's kind of having some fun, but I know you guys do a lot of great charity work. Again, they're called Miami Model Citizens. And you got a big event called Divas for Doggies coming up.
Yes, and that will take place on June 29th at the Shore Club. So all of us girls will be there. It's going to be
sure
a
about
fashion show. Yes.
Okay.
We'll be there.
It's a swimwear fashion show. Right?
Yes, yes.
All right, and you'll be there. Tamara's here, just won the Miss Universe Petite, it's called, right?
Yes, Miss Universe Petite. I'm so excited and be part of the Miami Model Citizen. And you definitely will get to see me there at the fashion show. All of us going to be there with the swimsuits, supporting, a great cause for dogs. So.
And that petite means, by the way, 5'6" and under. You don't have to be a 6-footer to win those.
Exactly,
right?
Which is great because it gives many girls the opportunity to compete. And I was representing my country, Cuba, so I compete against a lot of countries.
Who are the other ladies here? What's your name?
Sophia.
Tansy.
And who's back here?
Melanie.
Alexia.
Are you all going to be at the event?
Absolutely.
All right, so again, it's the Divas for Doggies, and it's at the Shore Club on June 29th?
June 29th, 9 p.m. to 2 a.m., and all the proceeds, portion of the proceeds go to Paws for You, which is an amazing rescue group for animals.
All right, and local attorney Ben Wilson set this whole group up, and they're going to actually maybe do some bowling events and some charities to give back. So you guys are doing some great work.
Absolutely. We're just more than pretty faces. We like to give back to the community. Yes.
And I'm hearing there's a tour of the truck. For the production people are saying you're welcome to have a tour of the truck afterward. Wouldn't that be exciting?
That would be exciting.
Or maybe not. All right, guys, let's go back to your ball game. Anyway.
Craig, always the model citizen, trying to better the community. Good job, Craig. What an assignment.
How do you find these things,
Yeah,
Craig?
how do you find those assignments?
The things he does for his country and community and him.
The hard thrower, Trevor Rosenthal, And that foul tip knocked off the mask of Tom Hallion, home plate umpire. A little bit of a smile. Yadier Molina, he knows the feeling. He's just checking with you.
Oof. Oh. That's a cup of coffee right there, huh?
That scratched my head, too.
See, and you love the courtesy of Yadier Molina to go to the mound. He doesn't need to go out and talk to Trevor Rosenthal now, but he's just trying to give Hallion a little bit of a breather.
He's going to go out there and hold up 2 fingers and see if he gets it right.
And don't be fooled. Just because you have that mask on doesn't mean it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
It still jars you pretty good.
Chris Guccione, the first base umpire, came in and just wanted to check, make sure Hallion was okay. All is well, and Rosenthal is ready to work. Popped in the air on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball just out of the reach of Molina.
You know, if you're Polanco, you had a little time off today to sit on the bench. The last thing you want is to come off the bench and have to face 98.
Yeah, and what's the reason he's on the bench? He's got a sore back. He's got to come out here and face this guy.
Thanks, double switch.
See the numbers on Rosenthal. 1-0 with a 1.6. One of the flamethrowers at the back end of this Cardinal bullpen. You mentioned Jason Mott not with the team right now, or not. He's injured.
Yeah, he had Tommy John surgery.
Oh, you hate to see that.
So now you sit around, you come in and double switch, and you take one, which initially might have been called a foul ball, but no, it's Polanco showed Hallion where that ball got him.
Probably took some skin off.
Yeah.
That was an easy sell.
Yeah, that didn't get even close to the bat right there. That's arm first. Yeah.
Watch that forearm, the back forearm. Right there. Boy, that got it pretty good.
I like how Polanco had to take a deep breath before he showed it to him. Hold on a second. Let me get my composure so I can show it to you.
Juan Pierre with a good day, has a couple of hits, 2 for 4, a triple, a single. Has extended his hitting streak to 11 games. And has come a long way with that batting average.
Couple of changeups in a row. Juan Pierre getting a little respect.
Well, Polanco saw 10 pitches, all fastballs. Rolled to Descalso, the flip, the turn, and the Cardinals turn a nifty double play. They had to with Juan Pierre, the runner.
Yeah, you don't see Juan hitting too many double plays, and when he does, he's got to kind of get it up the middle where the middle infielders can pinch and go toward the bag. If they've got to go either way on the other opposite direction, there's no way they get Juan Pierre first base.
Terrific throw by Pete Kozma, the young shortstop. Good slide by Polanco. Talked about Rosenthal earlier. Fastballs between 95, 98 consistently. Then he drops in that. Is that fair if you throw 98?
80 miles an hour, that's getting close to that 20 miles an hour differential. That's what a Roy Oswalt used to do to people.
And then Lucas pulls the fastball past the third baseman. Not sure if that was a fastball, though, at 89. Then Lucas gets his second hit of the game. So he just continues to have good at bat after good at bat.
He's been very businesslike. He really sees a lot of pitches. Every at bat he goes up there, putting quality swings on those pitches that are in the strike zone. You see him pull that changeup right there down the line for another double.
Yeah, you got to know that David Freese, the last thing he was thinking that there might be a ball coming down the line with this guy on the mound. Guys, if John Kohler squares went up right here, we could set a new speed record.
The old speed record was set off Jamie Moyer, who threw one up there about 72 miles an hour.
All right, here it is. 0-2. Do you think Rosenthal will try to climb the ladder with another fastball?
I would say that would be a good plan. Or right down the middle.
.99 on that last fastball.
That might be his best one right there for Giancarlo to try to hit, because he missed this spot badly. And that ball's right down the middle.
Right down the middle. 3 pitches, 3 99-mile-an-hour fastballs.
I think he's geared up to face the big slugger.
A little bit off the end of the bat to Beltran, and that's all for the Marlins in the 8th inning. We'll go to the 9th. It's a 5-run lead for St. Louis. Plate umpire Tom Hallion, who was struck on the mask with that foul tip. Marlins head athletic trainer Sean Cunningham. I think the question is Hallion okay?
Well, you know, he's still feeling the effects of that ball that he took off the mask. You know, that's a tough thing to do. Even though you have a mask on, you have that padding, it still jars you. And it can still affect you, especially this late in the game. You know, fatigue is taking a factor going on right now. So, you know, hopefully he can get through it.
He appears to be okay. And as that conversation took place, Edgar Olmos took his place on the mound to follow Dan Jennings. Tom Kohler started this game, went 4 2/3, gave up 8 hits and 9 runs. Kohler had just 3 strikeouts, walked 1. Ryan Webb, a third of an inning. Ramos, 2+ innings, gave up 5 hits, 3 runs. Dan Jennings with an inning. And now it's the young left-hander, Edgar Olmos. Well, one more time, this is our last promo. We've really enjoyed the process of Marcell Ozuna and the gumption of saying, give it to me, bring it my way, I'll do the promos. Here's Marcell.
MRB.TV is celebrating 11 years. Subscribe today and watch every out of market game live online. Visit MRB.TV. SLN.TV to get baseball anywhere.
We were hoping that the promos would help Ozuna a little bit offensively, but 0 for 3 in this game. 0 for 4, excuse me. And now 0 for his last 15. So it's been a struggle for Ozuna.
Well, I think what he's going to have to do is he's going to have to stop trying to hit everything. He's trying to hit everything right now, and he's got to just take the balls that are inside because he's not handling it. You know, and even if it's a strike, it may not be in your hitting zone at that time. So he's got to take that pitch and get back to handling what he hits well. What do you think, Niner?
Yeah, sometimes you got to go back to the basics and even take a few pitches, you know, and make sure you're tracking the ball well. Sometimes we get so out of our element up there, we're not tracking the ball with our eyes as well as we could. And if we take a few pitches and just relax, let it come to you.
Well, I don't know. I had 2 things that helped me. One was if a pitcher allowed me, I would go down to the bullpen when they're throwing and stand in the batter's box to see the ball. You have no intentions of swinging, but to see the ball out of their hand and track it all the way back to the catcher.
You have to get the pitcher's permission.
Right. And the other thing I would do was I would get in their cage against the pitching machine, get it cranked up pretty good, and I would bunt. Because that way you have to track the ball all the way to the bat.
Ty Wigginton, the veteran, pinch hitting, sends one high in the air, direction of Giancarlo Stanton, who puts it away. 1 down.
Did you rely on a lot of video? I know Tommy didn't because they didn't have it back then, but you, Preston, did you do much video?
Well, there was always a couple things that I checked for video. I checked to see if I felt like I was getting down on time, and I checked to see if it looked like my balance.
All right,
good.
When you say getting down, explain that.
What I mean
somebody in my head just said who.
Every hitter, when they start their swing, your swing can't start until your front foot hits the ground.
Okay.
So what I mean by that is my front foot has to be down in time for me to recognize what I'm seeing and to get a swing off. Because even your best hitters, if they're late, it's going to look like you're muscling up, your balance is going to be bad, and it's going to look like you're overswinging. Where none of those may be the case, it could be just that you're not ready to hit. You're down late.
The bunting drill, you said, was an interesting one because how many times have you heard a guy come back after he's been asked to bunt and he's dropped down a sacrifice and he said, man, I wish I was swinging on that pitch because it was right there. And the more you think about it, the reason it was right there is because you were right there on it watching it.
Right, and you watched it all the way in and you watched it hit the bat.
Good job by Edgar Olmos getting the first 2 outs, getting Wigginton, getting John Jay.
Talk about a live arm, Tommy. This kid consistently putting 97 mile an hour up on that radar gun, and that is just easy.
Yeah, it's hard to ignore a left-hander with an easy 97.
You know, this seems odd, but there are different 97s. There's that easy 97 like this. Then there's a guy that looks like he's trying to throw hard.
There's a hard 96, but just jolted off the bat of Carlos Beltran. Beltran has gone deep for the 2nd time today. 1 left-handed and 1 right-handed. He has 16 home runs on the year. And for Carlos Beltran, number 350 in his career.
That's a sweet swing.
I guarantee on the on-deck circle, he is seeing these 97-mile-an-hour fastballs that he was pumping there. He's sitting on one first pitch, and he got it right down the middle.
That's a sweet right-handed swing right there.
I thought you didn't do sweets.
I mean, you know what? That was all for you, man. That was all for you, being your left-handed bandwagoning today.
See, but his left-handed swing is way sweeter than his right-handed swing. There's something about it.
Head buried, good balance, good rotation.
Oh,
that's picture perfect, kids.
Yeah, we mentioned last night, 6th all-time, 350 home runs for switch hitters.
And I'll say it again, whenever you can take a swing and basically walk out of it to first base, that's when you know your balance is good. Complete the full swing, and then you can just basically head over to first base.
Cardinal bats, which have been good all year, have been on display today.
Well, Holiday's picked himself up a little bit today. Got the average up to 270 with a 2-for-4 effort. Cardinals have laid out 17 base hits in this ball game today.
And almost comes back. He gets out of the inning with the strikeouts, but the damage by Beltran, a solo shot, 13-7 Cards. Three-game series against the Diamondbacks. They've been playing some good baseball. Then it's on to the defending world champion San Francisco Giants. AT&T, the Golden Gate Bridge. Coverage starts with Marlins Live, and check your local listings. That's a great road trip, some nice ballparks to go to, and a couple of really good teams.
I mean, you guys got a nice long road trip. How are you going to pack for this thing, though?
Yeah, it's a little tough to pack. It's going to be 110 to 111 in Phoenix, and then we'll go to San Francisco. It'll be in the low 60s for a high.
Am I detecting a possible sweater vest on this trip there, Tom?
Possibly. I threw one into the suitcase right at the last minute. There's a look. 59 in San Francisco, 109 in Phoenix.
I mean, it's only a 50-degree difference.
So it is an interesting trip to pack for.
Wow. I heard Mike Redmond talking about early BP in Arizona, and the guy responded from Arizona saying, well, the roof is going to be open when you're going to be taking your early BP, and it's going to be really hot.
Yeah, they do, as the Marlins do here at Marlins Park, keep the roof open until about 3-4 o'clock, but when it's 108 outside, it takes a while to cool off. So I hope Red is rethinking that idea.
He did. He said, well, we'll just wait till San Francisco.
Somebody's going to have the sniffles on their road trip.
That's all I got to say.
Well, tomorrow in this game, Ricky Nolasco goes against left-hander Tyler Lyons for the Cardinals. Jacob Turner, Nathan Eovaldi, first two pitchers for the Marlins in that series against the Diamondbacks. You'll see Patrick Corbin in the first game. Diamondbacks have not announced a pitcher for the second game. Trevor Cahill in game 3.
I got more jackets in my closet from trips to San Francisco than.
Oh, that's surprise weather.
Well, yeah, you think about the first leg of that trip. You're going to steaming hot Arizona. You don't even think about San Francisco. Then you're walking around going to lunch or something. And I'm like, I'm freezing cold. So you pop into a store, buy a jacket so you can wear it around the city.
The amazing thing about San Francisco is then you go in July and August and it's beautiful. like that's when their summer starts to kick in. Like late, it's nice then. It's beautiful there.
Well, the struggles continue for Marcell Ozuna. Second strikeout today, he's 0 for 5. The right-hander, Keith Butler, with a pretty good fastball.
I would take this step. If he's going to keep playing, I would say, I want you to cut the plate in half, and I don't want you to swing at one pitch inside. Your best bolt is the ball away. If he was a pull hitter, I'd do it the other way. But his best bolt's the ball away. Cut the plate in half, only swing the balls an out of half, if possible.
Keywords in that sentence, if possible.
Yeah, I mean, but it's the idea. You know, every now and then you're going to swing at a pitch, but you have to have a place to start from. And right now, he's kind of getting that snowball effect where at-bats are starting to pile on each other, and he has to have some foundation to start from. And I believe, because he has a similar swing like mine was, his best swing was from the left center gap all the way around to the right field pole. So you have to start with where your strength is and go away. If a guy makes 3 pitches on you on the inside, tip your hat.
Generally speaking, the guy isn't going to try to bust the inside with 3 straight pitches either.
No. Dietrich has nothing to show for it, but he's hit 2 balls really hard today. That ball to shortstop and that last one to second base, he really squared up.
Good changeup by Butler. 2-2. Came right back with the same pitch. Marlins live postgame coming up right after this one with Craig Minervini and Cliff Floyd live from center field. A little after game talk about a lot of the things that went on in this one. What a job Jose Fernandez last night. Jose Fernandez last night became the first pitcher under the age of 21 with a 10 strikeout game since 2007. King Felix was the last to do it. There's a shot into right field. Chasing is Shane Robinson. Robinson with the play to Rob Echeverria, who continues to swing the bat pretty well. That does it. That's how it ends. It started with a flurry. The Cardinals got 5 in the first. The Marlins came back with 4. But the Cardinal offense just kept pushing and pushing. Ended up scoring 13. The Marlins with 7. The final score of this one, the Cardinals take game 2 of this series, 13-7. We'll be back to wrap it up right after this.